Anyway, this is our first session of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay in a while, second edition, of course. And I'm very glad that we are all here. Thanks, first of all. Thank you, guys. Now, a few things before we start. First of all, it's been some time for me, and I've been running 4th edition for 2 years. So I may not remember all of the rules. Brian and Sean, if you spot any discrepancies, please note. Please tell me. We've played together for some time, and so I trust that you guys will hopefully remember the things that I might forgot. And second of all, Keith, for your information, there are a few house rules that we are using.
Oh no!
Unfortunately, yes. This is so-called my hammer, as we call it in Poland. Which no, but there are only a few. First, you can dodge even if you don't have the dodge skill. If you don't have the dodge skill, you treat dodge as basic skill, which means that you are using half of your agility, basically. But every single character can dodge. Second of all, critical hits. Critical hits are different than in the rulebook. In the rulebook, if I recall correctly, it's from 96 to 100. If you roll 96 or above, then critical fumbles. Then you get a critical fumble. In my games, you get a critical fumble only on the doubles. If you roll doubles above your intended roll. So, for example, if you have a weapon skill of 21 and you roll 22, it's a critical fumble.
Got it. So like Delta Green.
Yeah. Really, in Delta Green, it worked like that. Okay.
Yeah, Delta Green was if you if you rolled doubles.
Yeah.
Played it that way.
Yeah.
Cheater.
So that's the second one, and the other ones are for mages and priests, but priests who can cast divine magic. But from what I understand, no one plays a priest who can cast divine magic yet, and no one plays a magician, fortunately. So I'm not.
Although I did tell Brian I was already eyeing the light wizard track.
Okay. Oh, okay. That's actually a very well. We can talk about it later. That's actually a very good choice. Yes, but I mean, when a wizard will appear, I will tell about the changes. I am, for example, using a different magic system, different miscast system, stuff like that, because I don't like the core system from the book. So, before we start, does anyone have any questions before the game starts? If so, then please ask them now, if possible, of course.
Are you set on your character sheet, Keith?
No.
You should have access to your character sheet now.
I have access to it, but is it done? No.
Okay. You can fill it up during the game. Like, no worries. It's all fine. No problem.
I want to make sure you have permissions though, so you can at least do that.
Yeah, I have permission.
Yeah.
FYI, mine is still loading for some reason. I don't understand what is going on with my internet today.
Okay. Well, as long as you can speak, then it's all fine. By the way, this will be relevant from the second session onward, but you guys can only level up at the beginning of the game. So right. You can't say, oh, I'm going to withhold spending my points for an hour or two, so I can see what's happening.
Level up in the middle of a fight.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, if someone is late, they couldn't make it, then it's all fine. But ideally, we only level up at the beginning of the game. And also, please be mindful of one thing. If you declare something, then this stands. I don't really like. I know that I was going to do this, but I've changed my mind, and now I'm going to roll for something else, especially during combat.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean. Like you can of course change your declarations, but if there's something dramatic going on and you've declared something in your in your turn, then we usually stick to the declared action. So also be mindful, please, of that. And I think that's it, honestly.
I have one question.
Mhm.
I believe that fortune points equal fate points, correct?
Yes, unless you of course have
unless you have the
the lucky talent. Yes.
yeah. Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
You have
Yeah, you've got luck.
yeah, you have as many luck points as you have fortune points. If you have luck talent, then you have one extra. As I've said, as I've written before, for your character's stories, you gain a free fate point, which also means that you have a free luck point. I've only read Brian's story because I didn't have time, but if you guys, Keith, Sean, if you've written yours, then please add a fate point to your character sheets. I will read your stories later. So
Okay. Well, that would give me 4, by the way.
yeah, so that's that. It's all good. It's all good.
Okay.
I think I took an advance.
Yeah, I took an advance on toughness so that I could have a 3 instead
Okay.
of a 2.
Okay. Sure.
Because I had a 29 toughness. God damn it.
Where do I paste my backstory onto my character sheet?
You.
It would be in your bio,
Yeah.
and if you go to edit, it'll have a little window, and so you can either drag and drop the file, or you can just copy and paste it into
Yeah.
that little
It's
text editor.
bio and info, and below, but I guess only I can see it, are GM notes, only visible to GM. So I can, for example, write Sean sucks, and Sean won't
Yeah,
see
what
this.
an asshole!
Yeah, what an asshole, exactly.
Nurgle's rot.
So
Well, actually, we did have that.
Oh yeah,
we did have a
in spades actually.
bloody flux.
Yes, yes. Okay, so I think we can start. Oh, there's one more thing, Keith. We are since a lot of happens during our games, of course. I've introduced a notes making system. So each player takes 3 sessions of notes. You can take the notes manually or on your PC or even in the document that I've created. You see in the notes there's the journal 1902-2023, 2023. And after 3 sessions, another player takes the note taking. And for notes, if I recall correctly, for 3 sessions of notes, a player receives a 100 experience points.
Ooh. Yeah, that's what I recall.
So that's one full advance actually. So that's a very good thing. And why the system is important? Because a lot of stuff happens. You meet a lot of people, and I may not always be able to recall everything for you guys. And in all honesty, some of those things I should not recall. You should remember them. That's why the notes exists. So who wants to do the first set of 3 notes? Or should I choose someone, because it doesn't matter for me.
You can choose someone. That's fine.
Sean,
Yeah,
are you
what
up to
was
it? Oh, sorry, Keith?
Yeah, I can do it. I just did it in the last game, but I'll do
Okay.
it. That's fine.
Sorry,
Take such beautiful notes.
Keith, you were saying something?
I don't know about that.
I was going to say just roll a dice, but if they're going to volunteer, I say let them volunteer.
Okay. Okay.
It's all good. Okay,
Okay.
let me. I am now switching from my old school method was to write it down on paper, but now I'm gonna do it on my word processor.
Awesome.
If I can find it.
That's typically
LibreOffice.
Yeah. I need
Because
to.
fuck Microsoft.
I need to make some of you louder a bit.
Okay, I'm gonna roll Doom real quick.
Okay. Sean, say something,
73.
please.
Check. 1,
Nice.
2.
Keith, say something, please.
hello.
Okay, awesome.
Cool.
And Brian.
Testing.
Okay, nice. I think we're all good. Right. So we are starting our first session of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay in a while, 2nd edition. The game takes place in 2522 IC Imperial Calendar. right after the end of the
1522.
2522. Wait, here you go. Right
Yep, got
after right after the end of the apocalyptic storm of chaos, an invasion by the northern hordes, which devastated much of the northern and eastern provinces of the Empire of Men, Sigmar's Holy Empire, as it's also known. Of course, the forces of the arch enemy were not the only antagonists here. There were the Greenskins, the ever-present threat of the undead from the east, as well as the mythical Ratmen, also took part in this terrible conflict. But the Empire and its allies, dwarves from the mountains and elves from beyond the sea, triumphed, although at a great cost. Ostland is practically no more, completely devastated. The province of Wolfenburg lies in ruins. Ostermark also took a lot of damage, and even not to mention, of course, Nordland, which from the beginning of the Empire was the target of North Sea, or Norse as they are now known, raiders. Generally, the more you travel to the south, the better life is in the Empire nowadays. Provinces like Averland, Wissenland, even Rakeland, which, by the way, if you look at the map of the Empire, the map here is a bit skewed. Rakeland is not to the south as it's shown; it's to the west. But so you really should tilt the map more to your right.
North is kind of facing the top left corner.
Yeah, exactly.
North is facing Nordland.
Yeah, because Rakeland is I think the westernmost province of the Empire. Situated right
Correct.
next to the Great Mountains, which of course separate the Empire from the fake nation of Bretonia. Bretonia we don't really talk about because they suck. But you are, fortunately, all three of you, are currently at least, in the capital of Rakeland, Altdorf, which is also the capital of the whole empire. Altdorf, once known as Rakedorf in the times of the Unbergen tribe of Sigmar, is the mightiest and greatest city, some say, in the whole world, and definitely in the empire, in the entire empire. Although people from Middenheim and Nuln might disagree, of course. And it's been the capital of this great nation for quite some time now. The current emperor, of course, is Karl Franz. Karl Franz from the Holzwig-Schließstein dynasty. It's also worth mentioning that Karl Franz has not yet returned from war. Same with his main military advisor and Reichsmarshal Kurt Helborg, Supreme Patriarch Balthasar Gelt, and quite a few important people in the empire, mainly elector counts. There are, of course, rumors. Some say that they've died, some say that they've been captured, some say that some of them became mutants, because the threat of mutation is ever present. But for now, as strange as it sounds, life slowly returns to normal. The streets of Altdorf, which is a very large city, of course, are bustling with refugees. And the city, already known for its, let's just say, unique atmosphere, as in it stinks, is now simply, in some places are almost hard to live in, because the Great Reek is so ever present. Altdorf is a magnificent place, but it is also a place of huge discrepancies, social discrepancies, and social, you might say, injustice. The poor live in abject poverty in the eastern part of the city, while the rich, for them, there might this whole war, like, it might not even be it might never even happen, because they are so obscenely wealthy and powerful, and yeah, that's just how life is in the empire. But I would like for all of you now, starting from left to right, to tell me how you got into Altdorf and what are you doing here, what are your plans, your dreams, your aspirations. Starting from Gustav van Hyck, which is, I believe, Brian's character, from, of course, Marienburg, from the Wasteland. Please, Brian, start.
I met Johannes, I guess somewhere between Karaberg and Altdorf, and we were both headed here, and we traveled for safety, and traveled together for safety, and we have a similar trade, so we've worked together, and we discussed going into business at some point, maybe. But yeah, I came to Altdorf because of the wounded and all the refugees coming in from the war in the north, and I thought that would be the best place to apply my trade.
Okay, please describe your character. How do you look?
Young kid, about 25. He wears dark, travel-worn clothing. He has a dirty white Order of the Bleeding Heart, a chalet investment that he wears when he's treating the poor, and yeah, he's his well groomed because he's a barber surgeon, and he's in pretty good shape, but not muscular necessarily. He's just fit. He's really into healthy living.
Okay. What do you carry with you? Like your gear, your stuff? I would like to hear about this as well.
So I have all my gear kind of haphazardly tied together on my backpack, and it looks kind of awkward when I travel. And I have a rosewood quarterstaff, and I have a wooden sign that says Shalia's mercy payeth only what you can, and it has a picture of a dove with a key in its beak, and it attaches to the end of my quarterstaff so I could post up in the slums and let people know that I'm a healer.
Okay. So now we go to Johannes. Johannes, what made you travel to Altdorf?
Well, so Johannes is from the south of Reichland, between Ubersreich and Schlosselschluss. I can't say that. And he is the son of a cooper, but his parents got divorced because his father was a shitty cooper, apparently, and started beating his mother when he was not making a living. So,
excuse me, Sean, what's a cooper?
That's a guy who makes barrels.
Okay, gotcha.
Anyway, so Johannes's mother, Bertha, went to Ubersreich and started working in a tavern there, the Lantern and Fox, and eventually married the proprietor. What was his name? Wagner Zumwald, I believe. I don't have any of this in front of me right now, so I'm just gonna.
I'm actually checking it out. Yeah, Wolfgang Zumwald.
Yeah. Where they had a child together. So him and his brother, his older brother, he was still, an infant, a baby, a toddler. They went to Ubersreich and worked, and she worked in the tavern, married the proprietor, had another kid with him, Gottfried Zumwald. Obviously, the favored child. The innkeeper didn't like the other two boys. Made them work hard cleaning out chamber pots in the stables while their half brother got all the best clothes and got fat on all the pies and pastries and food that was available. They when they got into their preteen years, Godfrey would always try to follow them around, and then he would tattle on them when they did stuff. And so one night they stole a bunch of casks of ale for a party they were going to have with their friends, and they got ratted out. And when they got caught,
By the brother, I see.
yeah, by the half brother.
Oh, what a bitch! Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
who is a fop,
Yeah.
is a slovenly fop. And he in the interim before this happened, mother had died of the plague.
Yeah, man, that's
So now all bets are off. The father didn't give a shit about the two stepsons. He branded them as criminals and disowned them. So they went on the road, and Peter Knappen discovered that he was a soldierly type, and Johannes discovered that he had a talent for the healing arts, and they wended their way to Altdorf, where it was picked up that Johannes had some skill with healing, and he was admitted to the College of Medicine as an apothecary, and that's where he met Gustav. And even though that doesn't concur with his story, and then Johannes likes to go to taverns with Gustav and find the most foppish dandies and spike their ale with either a laxative or an emetic just to fuck with them.
okay. So my question: did you study at some minor college of medicine or at the University of Altdorf? Because University of Altdorf has medicine, like what's the word? Section, I guess that's the word. Faculty.
Well, so what I thought was that essentially on the road, they had to fight people, they had to heal wounds, and so essentially people were like, "Oh, you actually are good at this shit," and so they helped him get into the Altdorf College of Medicine, which I'm assuming has an apothecary department.
Okay, so that's some kind of minor school. Okay, gotcha. So please describe Johannes.
Oh, he is 5'11". I want to say, no, I didn't write down his weight. I want to say he's 145 pounds, so he's a little skinny. 17 years old.
Okay.
Brown hair, hazel eyes. His clothes are not fancy. They are, kind of worn looking. He has a brand mark on his left buttock.
The mark of his stepfather.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Z, the Zumwalt Z on his ass.
Sure.
With a hot poker. And he is a very gregarious person, but he also likes to mess with people. He's the star sign of the Piper. And his doom is tie not the ribbon nor the feather wear. Yea, oh god damn it! Let me find it. I almost had it.
Sure. No worries.
There we go. Tie not the ribbon nor the feather wear. Yea, the peacock is thine enemy.
Okay, so. That's actually a rather important thing, by the way, star signs and dooms. Because Keith, I don't know if the guys told you, in my games you gain points for role-playing certain aspects of your character. First of all, of course, your profession, the man who you are, the man whom you are, your religion, if you believe in anything, your star sign, which I've sent you the description yesterday, but I will post it on Roll20 in star signs and combat aids in a few minutes. Your doom, which is really to your interpretation, because the star signs are described in Companion. You have the description, you have horrible encounters, secret mutation, stuff like that. But the dooms are really, well, it's up to you how you interpret them. And of course, you don't have to roleplay all those things. You can just, you don't have to care about them. But of course, it might mean a smaller amount of XP points for your character at the end. And by the way, if anyone plays a non-human, they gain 5 to 10 extra points for role-playing a non-human. That is if they roleplay a non-human and not just, my elf is just me with pointy ears.
What do you see with your elf eyes? Can I roleplay as someone else's?
What? Sorry?
I say, can I roleplay someone else not being human? Thank you, you little rotund happy fellow.
Okay, gotcha.
Why don't you go on into the kitchen and bake me a pie? A meat pie.
This goes to the Book of Grudges. Bring me my beer so I can indulge in my alcoholism. Yes, pretty much. Oh, and by the way, you also roleplayed the what was the your province from the place from you hail, from which you hail. Every province is described in Sigmar's heirs, and they are. That's what's cool about the Empire, that every province is different. People have different customs there. They speak differently. They believe in different things. So I would also like for you guys to remember that. Bran, if you need help with your character, there is a book about Marienburg Soul Down the River, which you can check for a Wastelander, how to portray a Wastelander if you want.
I have a first edition Marienburg PDF that I was looking at before.
That's it. Oh, and finally, if any of your characters will receive a mental illness, which this might be the case, you of course need to roleplay it, but you don't get points for it. Actually, I can take points away from you if you won't roleplay it properly during sessions. So that's important to remember, because mental illnesses are always a penalty, but they are they can be a part of a character, and so please remember that they are definitely harder to RP, but still necessary. They are they are a mechanic of the game, so yeah, that's that.
Yeah. And we can all agree that Big Brawler is the best at
Yes, Michael is
at playing his mental insanities.
Yeah, that's the end of the Thousand Thrones. It was very memorable. So I think that's that. Just so you guys know, Johannes, sorry, if you have anything else to say, then please say it.
I don't think so. Oh, the only thing I wanted to ask you about. Let me see if I can pull up my character sheet. That was annoying.
What happened?
I just clicked on I just closed out my Roll20 tab. But what I was going to say was that I am not totally sure. Oh my god, what is going on with my internet today? I'm not. Okay, there we go. I'm not totally sure about my trappings, because some of them were 4th edition. And so I took some of them out, but I think the book and the parchment and the writing kit technically are not part of 2nd edition availability.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. This is a very important thing. We only use books from 2nd edition.
Okay.
We don't use any material from 4th, from 3rd, nothing at all. They might be well written, but we are playing strictly second edition. So if you, for example, want to read about Aldorf, read about it in the Spires of Aldorf and not in the Aldorf book, which was released a few months ago by Cubicle 7. There are discrepancies, there are differences, and that's something to remember. As for your characters, you gain all of the trappings from your starting career. For your further careers, you need to collect them. So also be mindful of that. Some careers are very hard to complete because of the trappings, especially wizards. And if you don't have all of the trappings, you can't finish the career even if you have all of the skills of the traits. So that's again something to be mindful of.
Okay. I got rid of the three items that were questionable.
Yeah, just look at either at the career compendium or at the rule book in which there are most of the careers. Just see which trappings you start with, add them to your character sheets, and then remove all of the 4th edition ones. That's that. Keith, I've added the Witchling Star to Star Signs and Combat Aids. It's at the top. You can see it there. You can remind yourself, how this works. And now I would like for you to tell me, Keith, what are you doing in Aldorf?
Sure. So I had a recent encounter with what I believe was a zombie, a recently turned undead. However, the mayor did not believe that his wife was a fiend of the night.
Okay.
Just didn't want to believe it. It was true. So there were a few consequences from the struggle. One, I received a wound to my stomach in the struggle against this terribly strong. You wouldn't believe how strong she was. She could have broken down a door and broke down several. Even you could tell they were broken from the inside. She got me with a claw and pulled out a piece of my flesh, which left me with a grievous wound. To which I tried to drink away the pain of this wound, but it became infected. And I ran into a young man named Gustav, who had a cure for what I described as my smelly belly. And he was able to cure my smelly belly, and without his help, I surely would have died. So I owe him a life debt. So I've been following him around as kind of his strong arm. So I'm following him into Altdorf.
Okay. So you've traveled with Gustav together, sure thing, and that means that you've also.
This is a relatively recent encounter.
Oh, hi there.
Okay, and so that means that you've also met, that you also know Johannes.
In passing, we never really talked much.
Okay, he's weird.
Did you feel like you were shitting yourself after a round of drinking with me?
Yeah.
I've seen the kind that you gift a special drink to, and I don't meet that kind of description, I think.
Nope. You're not a poser.
Well.
No, I think like you.
The term is for poser.
Okay. Okay, but I mean, you guys, and that's what I want to establish. You guys know each other, and you've been traveling for short but some time nonetheless. And that's actually important because honestly, it's much easier for me to GM when the party, already knows each other at least partially. It makes my life a lot easier. And right before we start, I would also like to just say one thing, mainly to Keith. As you probably know, English is not my first language. So that means that I may not know certain words or I may make mistakes. I'm sorry for that. I hope that whenever I have problems, I ask the guys to clarify things or to correct me. So that's that. And one more thing, if you have any questions regarding your character's progression, how the system works, then feel free to message me anytime, in game, outside of the game. I will always answer. So yeah. And now we can begin. This time we are not running a calendar, as Brian and Sean, as you know, we've used this before, but for now, I'm not using it. But it's the summer of 2022. I'm specifically avoiding any specific month for now, but we may return later to using the calendar. Aldorf is a city unlike any other in the Empire and perhaps in the entire Old World. It is the capital of the greatest nation ever. It is the home of the Imperial Colleges of Magic, which are of course very controversial, but at the same time very intriguing, very enticing. The Grand Cathedral of Sigmar is here, the greatest temple built to the glory of the Heldenhammer. Not to mention, of course, the Imperial Palace. The Imperial Palace from which the Emperor rules. There's the streets. There's the Street of the Thousand Taverns, which is frequented by hundreds of people every day, by thousands of people every day. Sorry. Whoa! Is that a moth?
I have no idea what that is.
What's that?
Is it a cat purring into the microphone?
It sounds electronic.
Yeah, it sounds like someone's jack is doing funny things, I think.
Well, hopefully it's not me. Let me unplug and replug real quick and see if it's me.
You guys might also try this.
Yeah, he's on.
Sean, it's not you.
Okay, let me drop.
Okay, I changed to my PC and I can still hear it on here.
Yeah, wait a second. When I've disconnected,
I don't hear it at all right now.
okay.
It's just me in the room. I think it was Keith.
Yeah, Keith disconnected and now it's gone. So it's probably on his part.
Is he still in roll 20?
Yes, he is, but on roll 20 he has the mic off, so. So yeah, it sounds like his mic was catching almost everything that he had. Wait a second.
Hey, Sean, are you there?
Sean?
I'm not sure he's actually there. He said he was disconnecting and...
Yeah. Okay. I've written to Keith to try to reconnect, and let's see how this will work. Oh. Yep. It's once again. Yeah. It's something on your end, Keith. Sounds like your mic is very sensitive.
Okay, I think he's aware
Yeah.
of the issue, at least at this point.
Sean will be back in a second, I hope. Okay, here it is.
Hello?
Hey there.
Yo.
Oh, yeah, now we can hear you normally. Nice.
Sorry, I don't know what the hell happened.
No worries.
You didn't switch mics or anything?
What?
Like, you didn't do anything other than just sign off and like sign back on?
No, my I have 2 different microphones. I think one of them's fucking up, so I'm on a different.
Oh yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I tried resetting everything, rejoining, and then you guys said there was still a problem on my end, so I just busted out the backup.
Now it's sorry. Now we're all good. Sean, you here?
I think we're still waiting on Sean.
Okay, let's see.
There.
Okay, can you hear
Oh,
me?
yeah.
There.
Now we can.
I think it just wigged out when I unplugged my headset.
Mm. Now we can hear everyone fine. So let me return to the to describing the situation. Outdorf is, as I said before, it has many wondrous sights, many wondrous places, but sadly there is also the dock area, which is incredibly dangerous even during the day. There are 2 main gangs in Outdorf, the Fish and the Hooks, and they are notorious for fighting with each other and to extorting people, mugging them. Generally, they are they're not nice. And then there's of course the southeast, the eastern district, the so-called poor quarter. There are places there to which even the town watch does not go, even during the day. Most of the refugees from the north flocked to this place, as well as to the dock area, and they are trying to to just survive every single day. But it's not easy, because every single day people are either disappearing or are found dead in dirty alleys, or worse. Outdorf is generally lies at the confluence of 2 rivers, Talabek and Rake, and the city is known for its many bridges. There's of course the main bridge leading from the from the Temple of Sigmar to towards the north, to the North Gate. Some of the bridges are piston operated. They are marvelous works of engineering created by the dwarves. But there are also literal hundreds of small, rickety, sometimes rope bridges connecting the various, actually the myriad small islands on the rivers, and connecting them to the mainland. And Outdorf is also known for being the headquarters of the first Imperial fleet. The docks in the city are built so that they can actually service the Empire's many war galleons and warships, which then travel towards Marienburg, and from Marienburg to the Sea of Chaos and Sea of Claws. As for you, you've been here for some time, and tell me where are you staying right now? All 3 of you.
Oh, well, I just stay wherever I can. I'm accustomed to sleeping outside, usually in the gutter, which is why I think I got my smelly belly in the first place.
Okay. Actually, that's worth noting. If you are sleeping in a gutter and you're not a beggar, then after a single night you would not have anything left on you except for your clothes, and even those would probably be gone.
Oh no!
Yeah. So, and there's a big chance that you would end up dead.
Is there like a hostel or something that we could stay at?
There are thousands of sleeping places, taverns, inns, I'm just asking if you guys are staying together, and if so, in what kind of establishment. You can tell me now if you are renting a room in some kind of a better, looking inn, or are you staying in some kind of a shitty rundown hostel. And if so, in which part of town? I would like to hear this from you.
Not the southern part, please.
I feel like we would be staying somewhere not too far from the college, and I'm assuming that the Street of 1,000 Taverns is somewhere near there.
Street of 1,000 Taverns, actually.
Is there a map?
Yes, I am going to. The Street of 1,000 Taverns intersects the dock, so it's actually on the other side in the northern part of the city. I'm going to upload the map in just a few minutes. I'll need to find it, but I think I have it on my disk, so there shouldn't be any problems with that. Sorry, Street of 100 Taverns, also called as Street of 1,000 Taverns. It is a thoroughfare that runs from the Königplatz down to the Docklands, and it is known as the social center of the city. All day and evening is full of revelers, musicians, prostitutes, and pickpockets, but mostly drunks. Aside from the many taverns, of which there are actually fewer than 100, many homeowners on the street put a keg in their front room to have drinks with friends. So my suggestion maybe is to find a place here. Actually, it's right next to the River Rake, and and you might want to stay there.
Good. We'll get the good river smell.
That's actually
all the time.
that's actually important. Altdorf is known as the Great Reek because it stinks all the time, especially now during the summer, and with so many people from out of town. And it is especially smelly because of the eels. The Altdorfers love their jellied eels, and places in which you can buy them. Well, let's just say that they are extra smelly.
Yeah, you really get a unique perfume around here. Oh, let's stay here.
Okay. So let's say that your place is called. That's it. You want poor, common, or good inn?
Common.
Common.
Common. Okay.
Yeah, let's stay at the Fish's Missus.
Okay, so it's called the Shepherd's Wand. The Shepherd's. Okay.
I'm familiar with that.
If you say so, that's actually good to know. The inn is a single-story timber and brick building with a small fenced. It's not exactly yard; it's like a beer garden, you could say, and well-made wooden tables and chairs. A collection of tankards from many different provinces of the empire, from many different places in the empire, sits upon a shelf, and accommodations consist of a mezzanine with several wooden cots. The innkeeper actually is an elf. His name is Finranu. Actually, I'm going to just post it here.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, this is actually also one rather important thing about Altdorf. This is a very cosmopolitan city. So those of you who are normally who hail from a province which is mainly human-centric, as most provinces are, and let's say very traditional, might be surprised at how many people from different parts of the world can be found here. People from Araby with their dusky skin, people from far off lands such as the fabled Cafe and the steamy kingdoms of Ind with their oriental bearing, and of course non-people from places like the Elven kingdoms, which are rumored to lie somewhere to the west. The dwarves, of course, and halflings also form a significant part of the Altdorf population. but this is and aside from people from all over the empire, there are also Tylians, Estalians, Kislevites with their thick accents, and even during summer, they are usually dressed in some kind of fur, and even Norskans. Of course, the proper Norskans, the good ones. So yes,
If you say so.
yeah, I know there's no such thing. So yes, the innkeeper Finranu is he's actually quite short for an elf, and he's the so-called he looks like he belongs more in the empire than actually among his own people. He dresses in the imperial fashion. He even has an imperial tattoo on his left forearm. That said, he also wears a few pieces of very exquisite-looking jewelry with leaf motifs, and he's a friendly fellow, if a bit aloof. You all rent a single room, or each one of you?
I thought we had just cots in the mezzanine. But if we get a room, yeah, we should get a room.
You can have a single room. The price is rather reasonable for now. It's 5 pennies per person per night, because the prices are higher, by the way, right now because of the war and the refugee crisis. So I just want you to know that everything is more expensive. Some things much more expensive, other things less, but still so. And just so you know, if you guys want to stay in mezzanine, sure, but this is the time. But if you want to find a room later, then you have to roll. And if you want to tell me that you had this room for some time now, it's okay, but you won't have to search for privacy later on if you wish.
Yeah, I think we've been staying in this room together.
Yeah.
Okay. So, remember, the Shepherd's Wand, Finron, there are a few regular patrons that you've already, maybe not met, but, spotted. There's this halfling named Joffrey. There's Johann, the troubadour, who he can't really sing very well, but he's trying, and Finron seems to like him. This is not exactly your typical nasty looking tavern, which in which a badly performing troubadour could end with let's just say with a nasty case of black eye, and sometimes even worse. Yeah, but that's that. That said, there's also another place, not far from here, that you've taken a liking to visiting. Because the Shepherd's Wand, it's a very nice tavern, but it's kind of boring, honestly. Like, if you want to have fun, you won't really find it there. Nice food, good drink, and warm, serviceable bed, sure, but not really fun. For fun, you people have been visiting the One-Eyed Miller, known as the Miller, actually.
Yeah, it's always Miller time.
Yeah. It's in the more rundown area of this area, actually, of the street of the 100 taverns and its adjacent area. But again, the place, it's rowdy, but the patrons seem welcoming enough. And actually they have much better drinks than in the place that you are staying right now. So let's say that this is the evening of this day. You've finished your whatever stuff you were doing. I don't know. That's up to you. And maybe you've decided to visit the One-Eyed Miller. for a round of cheap but tasty drinks. And so you are walking down the street of the I'm going to upload this now, so you might want to check this out. Here it is, the street of 100 taverns, as you can see. Let's say that that your place is somewhere over here. You see the pink?
Okay. Yeah.
And let's say that the one-eyed miller is somewhere over here.
Okay.
The place outside, of course, is bustling with activity. I mean, the streets outside are bustling with activity.
Mhm.
Lots of people from all walks of life are, are drinking, trying to have a good time in this hard and trying times, trying to live their lives as normal as possible. Of course, there are, sadly, lots of beggars, of course. A few rough youths that you've been passing by are in a heated argument with each other, and you are almost sure that this will turn ugly in a few minutes, maybe even seconds. That said, the Street of 100 Taverns, also known as Street of 1,000 Taverns, is regularly patrolled by the Outdoors Watch, which honestly is just a fancy word for Outdoors military. Soldiers, state soldiers dressed in reds and blues and, wearing polished cuirasses and helmets, armed with halberds, spears, and their sergeants, usually with some kind of firearm, are patrolling the streets and, sternly looking at any sign of danger of civil unrest. Because while the Empire is a great nation, and, Sigmar cares about all of his subjects, it is also a nation which prizes obedience, the rule of law, and of course order above all things. There is no such thing as democracy here. There is no such thing as, free thinking. Well, to some extent, of course, there is, but it stops the moment when it threatens the rule of the emperor and the elector counts.
Not in Marienburg.
No, not Marienburg. Although you know that the burgomaesters of Marienburg, while of course they are much more cosmopolitan and free-thinking than their empire counterparts, they also have their limits and their tolerance. By the way, I've uploaded the City of Altdorf map. You can see everything here. You guys are staying essentially somewhere. Let's say I believe it's somewhere here.
So north of the river.
Yeah, because number
In
6,
area
as you can
6.
see, is the dock area, and the Street of the 100 Taverns is supposedly, it's adjacent to the docks area, and as you can see on the map of the street, the River Reich is very close. So I believe it's somewhere here, maybe somewhere here rather. From sometimes you can see from the when you reach the shore, you can see the other side of the city. You can see, of course, the spires of the Imperial Palace. You can see the grand roof of the Temple of Sigmar, of course. The colleges of magic are tricky thing because, as you've learned, most of them are hidden. Actually, there are some like the Gold College and the Jade College, which are which are in plain sight, but supposedly the Bright College, the Celestial College, and the dreaded Amethyst College are all practically hidden away from the sight of the common imperial citizen. This is still the Empire, and magic is, well, they don't trust it here. Even though the colleges have a huge political power of their own. So you are walking towards the miller. It's warm, it stinks, and you're thirsty. And please, on to you.
Can we take a quick bathroom break?
Sure. No worries.
I'm just gonna piss on the street. I'll be right back. Sorry.
That is nothing unusual here, like pissing on the street of Aldorf is nothing unusual.
Yes, I just empty my gross bucket out the window. What do you do?
So, okay. Pretty excited for the return to Warhammer, not gonna lie. That's actually... I was worried a bit, Brian, but I see that, fortunately, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to upload the map to the handout section because it's much easier that way. How
I
are
like
you
having
yeah?
like the old world as a setting because there's just so much stuff like you can look up about it. It's like grounded. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why I like it as well. That's why I never got into D&D. The entire, heroic part is it's not really for me, sadly. So how are you liking the game so far, Keith? If you have any comments, then feel free.
I mean, so far it feels like my similar other experiences with roleplay on Roll20. I'm happy to be playing with Brian. We haven't roleplayed in a very long time, so like that in itself is just exciting to me. And I'm ready to dive into this character and see just what happens with it in the Warhammer setting. So optimistic and excited, I guess, is how I'm feeling.
Awesome. I'm very glad to hear that. Very, very glad. You back, Sean?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. So are you also enjoying the return to our favorite game?
Yeah, so far.
Awesome. Yeah, so far.
I'm sure I'll hate it at some point.
Yeah. When I'll start dying again,
Jesus Christ.
you dumb GM asshole.
No, well, I think the worst time I had was when my stupid
Amber Wizard exploded.
Well, no, the wizard exploding was cool.
It was fun. It was fun. Come on.
No, it was fun. No, it was my Ulrican priest, because he was a combat machine, and he wasn't too bad at magic, and I rolled so terrible every time with him. He just essentially like couldn't cast any spells, couldn't hit anything, and died of like bloody flux, or he got some kind of disease and died.
Yeah, I remember that.
It was just like that was the most frustrating part of that campaign.
Well, hopefully this time this won't be the case, especially since I plan to make the scenarios a bit more down to earth and not, let's save the world once again. I think this will be a nice change. But anyway, you are entering the Miller. Sorry, actually you are walking to the Miller. If you want to discuss anything, speak, establish your characters, now is the time.
Listen,
Hey,
all I'm saying is you can't be riding a horse while eating anything. It's irresponsible. You gotta focus on where that beast is headed.
You say so. I've never ridden a horse. That sounds like something rich people, fancy people do.
All I'm saying is that's why I flew off the handle on that guy who was riding the horse. He shouldn't have had the kebab.
Oh, that sounds dangerous.
Rat kebabs.
Let's say that. Well, maybe not exactly kebab, but I guess there are probably a few Arabian vendors who can sell this kind of thing in Aldorf. In Aldorf of all cities, I could believe that there is a kebab somewhere. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say there's got to be rat on a stick.
Yeah, but they are in the poorer, places of the city. Yeah, I mean, you are passing all the people on your way to the Miller. It is a warm night. You could almost forget about all the turmoil and pain and misery that the empire is now experiencing as you are approaching the place. Even though it's in the more shabby area of this district, the cheerful noise and bright lights issuing from its open doorway are a welcome sight to your no doubt thirsty characters. The tavern is a plain single-story wooden building, and the sign flapping above the doorway is of a tatty man wearing a black eye patch. The paint is beginning to flake away, revealing an unknown picture below. As you enter the One-Eyed Miller, the cheerful noise heard from the street outside becomes a confusing roar of raucous voices. The mood appears to be boisterous but light-hearted. Looking around the tavern, you can see groups of rough-looking men seated at trestle tables that are scattered around the packed room. Many of the conversations are animated with raised voices and much waving of hands. The grins of the protagonists' faces, however, take the sting from any disagreements. Fighting your way past the press of people to the bar, you catch snatches of conversation that suggest the people in the Miller are in a fever pitch of excitement. What's all the fuss about? All of you approach the bar. There are, of course, a few bartenders, and you know that in the Miller you can only buy drinks. They do not serve food, and also there are no rooms here. And as for the drinks, sadly, wine is not available here. So, only ale and some stronger spirits. The bartender approaches one of the bartenders, a tired-looking man in his probably early 30s, approaches you. "What can I give you, gents?" he asks. "We have a busy night tonight, as you can see."
I'll have 2 ales and 2 ales for each of my friends.
Very, very well. 2 ales for you, young lad, and 2 ales for your friends. Tell me, you want them dark? You want them wheat? You want them maybe with an egg inside, eh?
Yeah, give me one of them eggy ones.
I'll
Sure.
take
I'll
dark.
do one with an egg.
I'll just take dark, please.
Very well, very well. This will be, and he quickly counts on his fingers. This will be 8 pennies total for the drinks.
Okay.
No problem.
Who's paying?
Oh, I'll pay.
Okay, sure. You give them an 8 pennies, and he begins to pour the drinks. As I said before, this place actually has some very tasty alcohol for you to enjoy, and so very very quickly, 4 mugs appear in front of you, frothing. Johannes, you've been given, a darker rich beer, while Klee and Gustav, both of you received lighter ales, but with eggs inside. And so you are enjoying the drinks. You are enjoying the
A
drinks.
toast
Okay.
to what we want, not what we deserve. Huzzah!
Huzzah!
I'm gonna immediately start looking around for ladies.
All right, sure. You
Like, what
are-
is the lady situation like here?
well, actually, this is a sausage fest, sadly. I mean,
Oh.
there are mostly men here. Men like dockers, like dock workers, sailors, local, not drunks per se, but local enjoyers of ales, workers, longshoremen, stuff like that. The place is very crowded. And actually, normally in a tavern like that, in a bar like that, there will be some games, some bar games, but because of how many people are inside, there's no opportunity to engage in any bar games other than drinking ones. But you see that that the patrons of the Miller are incredibly excited about something. Like, it's the atmosphere is almost festive, and you have no idea why.
There's a buzz in the air, and I can't put my finger on it.
I'm gonna ask the bartender what's going on tonight.
Very well. So you want to do this, Keith and Sean? Do you want to also ask questions, or do you want to maybe use your ears and overhear something? It's up to you.
I want to try to listen in on people, and I'm looking for people who look like they're too fancy for this place that I want to give the shits to.
Very well. And and what about you, Keith?
Oh, I'm gonna look around and just see what people are flapping their gums about.
All right. So now we finally we start rolling. Brian, I would like for you to roll me a fellowship test.
Gossip.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no attribute for gossip. Okay, that's weird.
You just roll your fellowship. No, it's
You should
not,
have gossip as just a human being, shouldn't you?
it's not a gossip test per se. It's just your basic fellowship. So
It's
because if you would have to roll for gossip and you wouldn't have gossip, then you would roll half your fellowship. But that's just basic fellowship roll.
it's not letting me roll.
Okay.
Yeah, that's weird.
Remember that you can always roll using the dice roll on your left. And honestly, because Roll20 is funny like that. I am also running a vampire game. Game using Vampire the Masquerade rules, and the rolls there are also rather tricky. All right, Gustav, you are okay.
I get drowned out by the noise.
Yeah, you can always reroll. By the way, Keith, I don't know if you know, if you fail a test and you have a fortune point, you can spend your fortune to reroll, but you have to accept the second roll no matter what. Okay, and yeah, as long as you have fortune, you can reroll, but you can't reroll more than once. So, for example, you can't reroll a failed test twice. Sean, you want to also, if I recall correctly, listen to people. Okay.
That's also a fellowship.
Yes. Actually, sorry. It's average perception test. Average, if I recall, is your basic test.
Okay.
So if you have acute hearing, how much perception do you have, Keith?
I have. Let's see here.
I mean, I don't think you have 60.
No, he.
I don't see
it
perception
looks like
at
it
all.
rolled it against his.
Fellowship. Yeah.
It should be against your int.
Yeah.
So
My
do you have a
int.
33 int?
I have a 35 in it.
Okay.
But you would still
Okay.
fail. If you would roll 63, then you would sadly still fail. So,
Yeah.
yeah, average. Okay, well.
I also fail.
Do any of you want to reroll?
You know what? I'm gonna reroll. So I'll use
Yeah,
the fortune point to
I'll raise
reroll.
my voice so you can hear me
Okay.
over the crowd.
Oop.
Okay, so Johannes is rerolling.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
85 to 86, very nice. Gustav, do you also want to? Nice, Gustav. Gustav.
If there's no modifier, I got it.
Yeah.
That's exactly my fellowship.
Yeah, and Kree? You want to reroll or you?
No reroll.
Okay. So what happens? Johannes and Kree, you are trying to listen to what the people have to say here. Why are they so excited? But there are so many patrons here, and alcohol is doing its thing. There's no music here really. There are no minstrels, no troubadours, but still, the cacophony of voices is just it's really deafening. That said, Gustav, you've tried to catch the attention of the bartender who poured you drinks, and of course you had to wait a while because he went to other people. But eventually, when he returned, you caught him, and I guess you're asking what you are asking about exactly.
I asked, what's going on tonight?
Very well. He says, he looks at you. He squints his eyes a bit, and he says quietly, but so that you can still hear it in the ruckus. Well, sir, there's a bare knuckle fighting competition being held in the basement later that evening. And he says, just don't brag about it outside, eh? That's not exactly legal right now, with this whole storm thing passing. The authorities, they are not exactly well disposed to people, able-bodied people, beating each other to a pulp. Of course, you are
Are they still
free
taking
to
contenders?
you are free to partake in it in betting. I mean, of course.
Oh, well, that sounds fun. What time is this?
It will start in actually in less than an hour.
I'm gonna lean over to
Mhm.
Johannes and Cree and tell them what's going on.
Okay. Gustav informs you, both of you, Johannes and Creed, that there is a bare knuckle fighting competition coming up.
Oh my! Do you think you're gonna take part, Gustav or Johan?
They said they're just taking bets. They're not taking contenders. It sounds like.
Yeah, no, that bare knuckle brawling's not my thing. but I might if I see the fighters, I might be interested in putting a wager down.
Yeah, I say we pull our money and we put all of our chips in one pot. What could go wrong?
Yeah. Now, after Gustav learned about this, then all of you, you actually listen to the people around you, and you can hear people, talking very excitedly about this, very excitedly about the fighting, and especially, of course, about the bets. There is money to be won here, apparently. And as you are enjoying your ales, and Johannes, you can roll me a perception test because you wanted to see someone more classier to do your mischief to.
Yes.
This is a minus 10% roll.
Okay.
Because, again, there are so many people here.
Oh, I fail.
By one. Sadly,
Yeah.
You don't see anyone really fancy here. Then again, you don't really think that anyone fancy visits a place like this. It's not your usual murder hall, but it's really not fancy. This place, it's really not. So unless you guys want to do something, then in less than an hour, the fighting starts. But if you want to do something in the meanwhile, then please tell me.
I'm gonna put a bet on the biggest guy. All my money. Let's go.
Cree is very enthusiastic. I like that.
Yes, I'm gonna nurse my ales to last me until the fight starts.
Okay. Well, actually that's one thing that we like about the Miller. The ales here are big. They don't give you small cups. They give you large steins of beer. And the beer is actually surprisingly good for a place like this. And Gustav, are you also waiting for the moment to begin?
Yeah. Waiting to go down in the basement, see the fighters.
Sure. So, sorry. Okay, so the mood in the room has been building all evening until finally the tall, shabby man who you have learned is the owner announces that the time has come. The patrons yell deafeningly as the front door is closed and locked, and a large trapdoor hidden beneath one of the tables is lifted up. Everyone tramples down the stairs into the damp, dark cellar. This, of course, includes you. Following the crowd, you see an open circular space up ahead, roped off from where the crowd mills. Inside the ring are two very large and very rough-looking men. At the crowd's arrival, they both raise their arms to acknowledge the acclaim being yelled at them. As you settle down, you see money start to change hands as Carsten, the owner, explains the rules of the fighting ring. Carsten, who is this tall, bearded man in his middle age. Let's just say, he looks to be in his late 30s, maybe middle 30s. He's dark-haired man. He has you see that he has quick darting eyes, and a smile is never far from his face. That said, all of you, as he's speaking and raising his hands, you see that he's missing the little finger on his right hand. He starts speaking and he explains the rules of the fighting ring. The rules are as follow. Fighters must not use any fighting aids or wear brass knuckles. Fighters must be bare-chested and not be wearing any forms of armor. Friends or colleagues cannot aid fighters in any way. Kicking, eye gouging, biting, and headbutting is not allowed. Bouts last until one fighter is unable to continue. In the case of both fighters being unable to continue, the bout will be judged a tie and a rematch will be arranged at the earliest opportunity. Fighters must stay within the fighting ring at all times. Purposely stepping outside of the ring will result in the loss of the bout. And finally, all betting is to be made through the house representative. Maximum bets are to be set by the house and are subject to change. Once Carsten has explained the rules of the fighting ring, he announces the fighters who are taking part in the bouts. So, round 1 takes place between a few pairs of fighters. There's Smoking Joseph Fraserberg versus Todd the Hitman Heinrich. As you are listening to the crowd, you've learned that Todd has a strong punch known as Sigmar's Hammer. Then there will be Claudius Lime, the young pretender, versus Gerhard Kranz, the laborer. Then there will be Marvelous Marvin Hegler, experienced fighter, versus Dieter Mintner, known as having a glass jaw, which is probably not a compliment. And finally there will be Snorri Thunderdelf, dwarf mercenary, versus Zander von Hofeld, who is supposed to be the previous champion. Do you want to know the odds for each fighter? For each...
No, I bet on Letard.
You... Okay, so... But, I mean, as you approach the man, by the way, whom Carsten pointed to, mousy-looking man, and you can all roll perception tests, basic.
So it's on half if you don't have it.
Yeah, it's on. If you you do not have the perception itself. Nice, Johannes rolled for 20. You have perception.
Oh!
Nice. That's. You want to reroll that?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
A place like this.
Look, my shoes.
Second fate point goes. Okay. 42. That's probably.
That was the first one I've used.
Yeah. Oh, that's the first one. Okay. You didn't use one before?
No.
You did.
You did at the
Remember?
bar.
I did?
At the bar when you were talking with the bartender. Remember?
I thought I just waited and did it again.
You've waited because I described this. I described this that way, but you failed. So
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so you had to.
I didn't
reroll.
realize it.
Yeah. I think you've all
Right.
used the reroll except I believe except for Kree. And finally, Kree, you've rolled 2. Wow, nice. So, Kree and Johannes, but not you, Gustav, as you are just walking towards the mousy man. Kree and Johannes, you've spotted that there are actually small side bets are carried out amongst friends over the basement, albeit surreptitiously. You know, but no one is giving them any trouble. So you guess as long as they are very few and small, it's all good. As you approach the mousy man, who is known, whom you learned his name Matthias. And Matthias he's young, he looks like 25. He has roughly cut blonde hair that seems to poke out at odd angles, and his myopic gaze belies a very keen mind. He tends to wear plain brown clothing of basic design. Yeah, sorry, someone is saying something?
Oh.
Okay, sorry. you are learning the odds. So the fight between smoking Joseph Fraserberg and Todd the Hitman Heinrich. People are betting 2-7 on Joseph and 3-2 on Heinrich. And by the way, I have no idea how this works. I mean,
I don't either. You get lost.
I mean, from what I understand, the 2-7 on Fraserberg, I think it's better than 3-2 on Heinrich. Am I right?
I have no idea. I bet I'm with
Yeah,
Todd.
Okay. So Claudius Lime and Gerhard Kranz, 2-5 on Lime and 2-1 on Kranz, and Marvelous Marvin Hegler is 2/15, and his opponent Dieter Mintner gets 4-1, and finally Snorri Thunderdelf is 3-2, and Xander von Holfert is 2-9.
Who was the laborer?
The laborer is let me see, Gerhard Kranz.
Sorry, I forgot what the dwarf was again.
Snorri
The last two?
Thunderdelf. Snorri Thunderdelf.
Yeah, but what was the odds?
3-2 on Snorri.
3-2 on Snorri, and the champion was what?
Previous champion Xander von Holfeld is 2-9.
2-9. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put 2 on Clouds.
On Kranz, the
2 gold
laborer.
crowns. Yeah.
Okay. But how much man do you bet? Do you bet brass? You bet silver, or you bet gold?
I'm gonna bet 2 gold crowns on him, and then I'm gonna give 1 gold crown to Free to put down on something.
Okay. So you bet 2 gold. So please note this because I am going to forget about this. So
2
you bet
gold crowns on who?
on Kranz and Johannes. What about you? Your bets
I'm betting 2 gold crowns on the dwarf.
on the dwarf, and finally Kree. How much are you betting?
I'm betting that 1 gold on Todd.
On that. Very well. Very well. So, once the combatants have been announced, the first bout begins. You can see that as soon as the fights begin, Matthias, the mousy man, is turning around an impressive amount of panthers, and the betting panther, which of course you are also betting panthers, receives a slip of paper noting how much money was bet on which fighter and the odds of that fighter winning. No more complicated betting is carried out than that. And so the fight begins. The men in the ring, of course, not all of them are fighting at the same time. First, it's Smoking Joseph Fraserberg versus Todd. Then it's Claudius versus Gerhard. Then Marvin Hegler versus Dieter, and finally the dwarf Snorri versus Xander von Holfeld. It takes some time, usually just a few minutes, but in all honesty, as you are watching the fights, and people all around you, of course, they are yelling, they are hollering, they are shouting, "Go, Joseph, go! Kick his ass! Claudius, you're my man, Claudius! Woo!" Stuff like that. Hit him from the left! Do the haymaker! Stuff like that. Of course, I guess that you are also pretty excited about all of this, especially since there's this air of something not entirely illegal happening here. You guess that no one here would be arrested for partaking in the fights and watching the fights and betting, but still, from what you've gathered, the authorities in Naudorf do not look kindly at this sort of thing right now, because every healthy able-bodied man is expected to be to be on standby for eventual, call to arms, because even though the Storm of Chaos ended, they're still fighting in the north and in the east. But almost as soon as they began, to your perception, the fights have ended. And well, some of you won some money, I guess, and some of you probably lost, because the fighters who will take part in round 2 are I was trying to make the sound of the drums, sorry. It didn't really work out. Sound of the drums. Smoking Joseph.
Wow, my favorite types of drums, the lip drums.
The lip drums. No,
Sounded like you were motorboating.
Thank you. Round 2 will be fought by a total of 4 contestants in 2 fights only. Fight 1 will be between Smoking Joseph Fraserberg, 3-10 by the way, versus Claudius Lime. So sorry, but Gerhard Kranz and Todd lost their fights.
God, no!
Gerhard as well. Todd the Hitman Heinrich, even though he tried to use the strong punch known as Sigmar's Hammer, lost, and Gerhard Kranz, the laborer, lost against Claudius, who is the young pretender. And the second fight of round 2 will be between Dieter Mintner, 3-2, versus the dwarf Snorri Thunderdelf. So Xander lost, and Marvelous Marvin
Snorri
Hegler.
Thunderdome?
What?
Did you just say Snorri Thunderdome?
No, Thunderdelf. Thunderdelf.
Okay, sorry.
maybe I said Thunderdome, but we never go
No,
beyond the Thunderdome. Am I right?
Thunderdome.
But yes, Xander von Holfeld, previous champion, as well as Marvelous Marvin Hegler, unfortunately, are out of the fight. Of course, the new round means new bets. And tell me, do you guys want to bet again or not?
Yeah, I'll bet another 2.
Okay, on whom? Sorry, on whom, Sean? Because I didn't cut that.
On the dwarf. On
the
Snorri.
dwarf. So it's 2-5. So you bet 2 gold crowns on Snorri Thunderdelf. Kree, what about you? Do you want to bet?
I'm not betting on no stinking halfie.
Okay. And what about you, Gustav?
I'm gonna put another 2 on this dwarf.
On Snorri. Very well. Okay. Matthias.
Wait, you're betting for the dwarf. I'm betting against the dwarf. 5 gold against the stunty.
So you're betting 5 gold on Dieter.
Sure.
Is that correct? Okay. Okay. So once again, you approach Matthias. You hand him the money. He gives you the slips, slips of paper noting how much money was bet. And he of course says, one at a time. I'll have time for all of you. Place your bets. Will you place your bets on Smoking Joseph Fraserberg, or will you place your bets on Claudius Lime, or maybe you want to take your luck with Dieter Mintner, or maybe you want to place you want to spend some money on the marvelous Snorri Thunderdelf, stuff like that. And during the second round of bouts, the crowd becomes increasingly rowdy as the contests become tenser. Yeah, sorry, Brian, you were saying something?
No, I didn't say anything.
Okay. People are jumping around and generally jostling their neighbors. And you don't know why or how, but in a particular tense moment in a bout, Kree, you jogged someone. You jogged one of the patrons, which resulted in that person spilling his drink. The patron looks at you, "Oh, you little!" and he's throwing a punch towards your direction.
Oh no!
So, yeah, the man, your typical patron, of this place throws a punch at you. Do you want to do anything, or are you just taking the hit?
I yell out, "Look out! It's a zombie!"
Okay. Fortunately, probably no one will hear that, but let me roll. He's saying, "That was my fucking drink, you asshole!" And he misses completely. The punch flies right past your face. By the way, I presume that all of you three are rather close together. So both Gustav and you, Johannes, you see what's happening. And now we enter the initiative stage.
All right.
Initiative is based on
I see there's a
agility.
little combat cheat sheet over here.
Yes, there is a combat cheat sheet in Star Science and Combat 8. You can use it. It's actually very handy. Initiative is based on agility, so each of you make an agility roll.
You roll D10 and then add your agility.
Oh my god! That's a fun thing. I don't remember that. I'm not even kidding. It's been so long that I've forgotten the rules.
Yeah, that's what it is. I just rolled it on the initiative thing on my.
So it's a D10 plus your agility, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so everyone rolls
Yeah,
D10, adds it to your agility, and then yeah. So
yeah, so you're just actually there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody.
So Chris, you have 41 because this is 0. This is 10. Because you can't roll 0 on D10. So
He rolled a 1d0.
yeah,
Nice.
so
Oh no!
okay. So who has how much? Please tell me. Johannes, you have 37, right?
Yeah.
Kree, you have 41. Gustav, how much do you have?
I have 38.
38. So the guy will have 45. So his first. We declare from top to bottom, of course. Again, I think so. No, yeah. In World of Darkness, you declare from down to up, but this is from up to down. So first we have him. Then we have 38 with Johannes, right? No, then we have 41 with Kree, then 38 with Johannes, and how much do you have, Gustav?
Gustav has 38. I have 37.
Okay, so you are
asshole,
last. Okay, yeah.
Asshole, Kree,
Yeah.
us, and I'm last.
Yeah. So the asshole once again takes a swing at Kree, crying, "Gonna fuck you up!" And yeah, you see right now he's the only one attacking you, but of course there are people who are taking who are aware of what's happening, and you know in a place like this, things like that can escalate very quickly. So, but for now, no one is intervening. It's only Kree and Patron. So the Patron will try and aim his attack rather well at you, Kree. And let's see if he will succeed. Once again, he already drank some, a bit much this night, so his attack is wild. It's too wide. He misses you. Right now, it's your turn, I believe. What are you doing?
I bend over and take the hilt of my sword out of its sheath, and not to pull the sword out, but I just butt him with a hilt and resheath it after I slide it out just enough to bonk him with the end.
So that's how this works. You will roll on your weapon skill, and this will be treated as improvised weapon. Improvised weapons, they don't do much damage, but they are usually better than bare fists, unless you are Sean, who can kill with. That's actually a botch.
Whoa.
You might want to reroll that because this is going to be a nasty one. I'm going to tell you that.
I'll re-roll it.
Very well.
Yeah, Sean killed a guy by accident like that before.
Sure, by accident. Very well. And
Yeah.
now, this is very important. You've struck him in the head. And in my games, we are actually using a rather funky system. It's again one of my house rules. When you struck someone in the head, you add first. Actually, I'm going to show it to you in practice. Raw damage. Improvised weapons are.
SB -4.
Yeah, I think so.
-3.
Wait a second. The parrying dodging force. This is. Oh, this cheat sheet sucks. There's no.
That's not a very good cheat sheet. No.
Improvised weapon is SB -4 for sure.
Okay, yeah, SB -4. So raw damage, raw D10. 8
Oh.
plus your strength,
29.
so 2,
So
so 10,
So
minus -4.
2. Yeah, gives him a -2 to that roll.
-2. Wait,
Yeah, because he's got a 2 strength bonus, and then
Yeah.
it's -4, so that's -2 overall. So he
Yeah.
does 6 damage.
yes.
That's a lot.
6 damage, and the guy has toughness of 3, no armor. So, normally, you would deal him 3 points of damage. Because 6 minus 3 is 3. But this is a head strike. Which means that after we count all those things, we double them. So we just struck him for 6 damage to the head.
Kiss your teeth. Goodbye.
And I mean, these rules, I have cheat sheets for those rules. They are from my old GM, but they are sadly only in Polish, so I'm not going to upload them. But there are also other things like striking, for example, hitting an eye bypasses toughness and armor completely. So you immediately just strike the, pure hit point strike. There are other things, but we'll go to them as we play. So, yeah, that was actually a very strong strike on your part. You struck the man hard, and it seems to to actually quite daze him quite a bit. He fell back, and there's blood gushing from his nose, and he's like, and now we have Gustav. What are you doing?
Well, I was gonna offer to buy him a drink, but I'm probably off the table now. I'm gonna
he's
yell
gonna
for
need
everyone
some
to
soup.
take it into the ring.
That's what you're shouting, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. And finally we have Chris. Sorry, not Chris. Johannes?
Yeah, I say, hey, let us buy you a beer.
Yeah. Now, unless Cree want to continue, the man puts up both his hands and he's like, oh, enough. Come on. Sorry, man. Wow, that was quite a hit. And
Whoops.
he reaches out his hand to shake yours. Sorry for that. I got a little bit overexcited, eh? May I buy you a drink later?
You can buy one for me and my friends, and maybe a new pair of shoes.
Well, let's stick with the drink, eh? After the fight's done, we can go share one above, eh? He says, and he wants to shake your hand. You see that the man really has no more ill intentions. That single strike from you was all that was needed. It's like he's out. He doesn't want any more trouble.
Yeah, I bet not.
But are you shaking his hand or not?
Yeah, put her there, you jerk.
Sorry. You know how this is. I just got a bit overexcited. This is all. And he shakes it very vigorously and returns to watching the fight. Any ill intentions forgotten. That's actually quite normal in a place like this. You think that, I guess. And a few minutes after this unnecessary incident occurred, the second round is over. And so, the final battle the final round will take place between Smoking Joseph Fraserberg 2-7 versus suspense Snorri Thunderdelf 2-1. So those of you who bet on Snorri, you won. Those of you who bet not on Snorri, you've lost, sadly.
Oh no!
Also, please, guys, you have to take care of your. I mean, also always remember how much coins do you have, and I'm not a a stickler when it comes to this, but remember about encumbrance. This is for our later game, probably when you have much more stuff. But encumbrance is something in this game, and so if someone is carrying a full plate, a musket, 2 pistols, a rope, a mule on his back, stuff like that. Remember there are rules for this. What I want to say is just keep your character sheets in order. That's because I know there's quite a bit to do about it in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. Things change on the sheet very quickly. It's not like Dota Green where you didn't have to worry about your encumbrance like at all. Just remember. Anyway, the final takes place.
Snorri was 2-7?
No,
2-1.
Joseph Fraserberg is 2-7. Snorri is 2-1.
2-1. So if I put 2 gold on Snorri, that means I get 4 gold.
Back.
I won and I get less. Yeah, I think it means I get 4 gold, right?
You get your bet back too, though.
Yeah, I think that's what happens. You gain back just 2 coins. If you put 2 on Fraserberg, potentially, if I get it correctly, you get what, 14? Because 2-7. I've never betted in my entire life. I don't know how this works. That's the problem.
Yeah,
I was never a betting man. Yeah.
Okay, let me 2-7 odds. I'm gonna look it up.
Sure. Thanks, man.
What does 2-7 odds mean? How to work out your bet, Game Hunter.
Is the exact number of this going to impact your bet, or is 2-7 just like a good enough ballpark?
Okay, so it says here a winning 20 we'll just say crowns. This is in pounds, but a winning bet at 2-7, if you bet 20 crowns, would give you 571, and then you'd also get your 20 crowns back. So that's the thing. If you win, you get a percentage back.
Oh, okay.
Plus your thing. So they have here, for instance, they're doing it in pounds. So they're saying if you bet 1 pound at 2-7, you'll get 29 pence back. If you bet 50 pounds, you'll get 14 pounds 29 pence back. So, as essentially, if you win, you get 2/7 of what you bet plus what you bet back.
So you gain, in this case, then we'll also have to probably go through the last round. So you gain 2 crowns back if you win. If Snorri wins, I mean. And 2-1, which means what, 10% from 2 crowns? Yes, is that correct?
2-1. I think you get double back.
Okay. 2-1. Okay.
So
Gotcha.
if on the right side is lower, you get a percentage back of what you a lower percentage, because you get 2/7 of what you bet plus your winning plus your stake.
Mm-hmm.
And in the well, I'll look it up to be sure, but it looks like you get double your money back.
Because as you are listening, by the way, because maybe this is important, but as you guys are listening, and you don't have to roll for this, people are actually betting on Joseph Fraserberg, since he seems to be the new champion, and actually he won the last few rounds. I mean, the last few competitions. Just so you know. So more people apparently are betting on him than on the dwarf.
And that raises the payout if you bet on the dwarf and the dwarf wins.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Correct.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
I'm putting 3 on the dwarf then.
Okay.
Yeah. So if he puts 3 on the dwarf and wins, he gets 6 back.
Okay. So what about you, Johannes? Your
I'm gonna bet 2 again. So I've been betting 2 every round.
on Snorri or on Joseph?
On Snorri.
Okay. And what about you, Cree?
I'm not betting for no stunty. That's another 5 gold against him.
Very well. Just how much money do you guys have? Like.
I had 10.
I have 12.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but now you've got to have how much, Sean?
What's that?
You've won every round.
Yeah, I have no idea how much I've won. I'm just telling you how much I had to
You
start
bet
with.
2 every round, and so
Yeah. I don't
you would
remember
get
what the
3
odds for Snorri were. Though.
3 back every round.
Oh, I got 3 back every round?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think, right?
Well, first round.
Was he 2 to 1 every time?
No.
Yeah.
First round. Who were you betting on, Sean? On Snorri.
I bet
right?
on Snorri every single time.
First round was 3-2 on Snorri.
Okay.
Second round was 2-5 on Snorri, and third round is 2-1 on Snorri.
Yeah. Okay.
So you
And
can
then-
later do the math, but yeah, you've won every round so far, and so you are now placing what? 3 crowns? No, sorry, 2 crowns on Snorri, right?
Yeah.
And you are placing
Yeah, and I'm putting 3.
3, and Cree is putting 5 on Joseph.
How do they just not hold his head back at arm's length and then punch him? I don't get it.
Okay. Talk about his bird as well, and you'll see what's going to happen.
He calls that a beard.
Oh.
Those fighting words.
Yeah, them's fighting words. Them's Book of Grudges words. Of course, you place your bets with Matthias again. Of course, you had to get in line because people are by now they are almost hysteric. The tensions are rising. There's this almost fever in the air. The final round takes place at last, and it is no surprise when Joseph Fraserberg wins the title once more.
You son of a bitch!
Knew it.
No!
The
I
se-
tear my
you,
pick it up and I throw it in the
Humans
air.
rule. Humans rule.
the cellar erupts into cheers before slowly emptying. Of course, you collect your bets. You collect your money, which
I'm gonna do math at the end of the session.
I guess after the session we can do the math for everyone.
Stole that one from you, Snorri.
I mean, you saw, the final round. It was very even. Snorri, of course, as a dwarf, he was more, like taking hits and just standing and trying to put out as much punishment of his own. But Fraserberg, especially you, Cree, you think that this man probably was a soldier or had some kind of military experience, because it was clear from the way he moved that he wasn't just some your usual gutter, trash fighter. He really knew how to handle himself in a fight.
Yeah, that guy could be out protecting all our lives, but instead he's in this ring making me money. Huzzah!
After
I
everything,
support our troops, especially when they make me money.
after everything, you went up, and sadly, the man whom you smashed in the face is nowhere to be seen. He probably just bolted. But whatever. I mean, at least he didn't got you into trouble. People are now in the main room of the miller, buying more drinks, enjoying their time, and of course excitedly talking about all of the stuff that happened. Discussing the fights You guys are also buying drinks, or for now you had enough?
I think I'm gonna get drinks for the night.
Yeah, I think Johannes is done.
Johannes,
Yeah, I think I mistook someone for a zombie already. I think I've had enough.
okay. So you don't want any more drinks, any of you. So you probably just hang around a bit in the main room, and then you are ready to leave.
Still no ladies, I take it.
No. There's not a single woman inside. That's a very sad thing. It's all dudes.
Yeah.
But as you are leaving,
Are we in the right bar?
but as you are leaving, a hand falls on your shoulder, Cree. And you hear a voice from behind, a bit nasal. Excuse me, do you have a moment, sir?
Oh, you spoke to me. Yeah. What do you want? What's your name? Who are you?
You turn around.
I do the old creepy 1, 2, 3 turnaround.
Okay. What about you, Johannes, and you, Gustav? You also turn around.
Yeah, I'm gonna see who
Yeah.
this is.
You see that this is Carsten.
Oh no!
Who?
Carsten, the owner of the inn.
Oh, sorry about that. I meant, oh, hooray!
Of course, as you turn around, he removes his hand from your shoulder, and he introduces himself. I am Carsten Leibnitz, owner of the One-Eyed Miller. May I take a minute of your time, mine Ellen, and discuss a few things with you in my private quarters?
I'm in a good mood. Why not?
Very well. He also looks, even though he's clearly mainly speaking to you, Cree, he also looks at you, Johannes, and you, Gustav.
So I'll follow, but I'll assume that he wants to hire a soldier or something.
What about you, Johannes?
Yeah, I'll follow along.
He then leads you back to the cellar, by the way. The door is not yet closed, downstairs. He simply
Cellar, but there's no wine.
he simply says, please follow me, and do not worry, there will be something better than wine down there, sir. So yes, he takes you down. He leads you into a small office that leads off from the cellar containing the fighting ring. After closing the door and seating you, he offers you a drink of brandy from a glass jug on his desk table. The office is functional with solid-looking oak furniture. He sits behind a desk in front of you. You are all sitting on relatively comfy chairs, nothing too fancy, but you see that this man is doing well for himself. And the brandy, by the way, smells and tastes very good. This is probably the best stuff that you had ever since you got to Outdoor. This is expensive stuff.
Did you say he's missing a pinky finger?
Yes, from his right hand. I'm actually
Okay.
going to upload him in a second. I wanted to do this before today, but I had a few things to do, so sadly you have to wait. But as I've described before, he is in his middle 30s. He's tall man, dark-haired. His eyes are quick, darting, and you see that he smiles easily. He also has relatively well-kept beard. Look, he says, after, of course, he poured you a generous measure of brandy.
Down the hatch.
Cheers, he says, and he also drank himself, of course.
Carl Franz.
For Karl Franz and the Empire, he says.
Oh, girlfriends.
Eh.
Fucking wastelanders, man. Insurrectionists. No, of course he's not saying that. But he also, you've noticed that when he toasted the name of the Emperor, of course he didn't do this with fanatical reverence, he just acknowledges that the man is, in fact, his emperor. I have a problem, mine Aaron, and I would like for you to help me with it. Mainly you, sir, he points at you, Kree. But since all of you seem to be in cahoots together, then I can hire the services of all of you.
Yes, I need them to take care of any potential smelly bellies.
He looks quizzically at you, but he's not, following this line of conversation. I think that I'm having a problem with someone fixing the fights in my place.
We'll be rich.
Someone... Well, I mean, as you've probably noticed, Dieter Mintner won. This is one of the evidence of foul play. I wish for you to find the fight fixer. That said, to do this effectively, one of you must be in a position to attract the fixer's attention. Thus, one of you must enter the ring. And he looks at you, Kree.
Oh boy! I gotta take out all the aggression that I have from my past trauma on willingless victims. I mean, competitors.
That's right. And you're going to do this 100% legally. Ain't that swell?
Wait a second, these are legal fights?
Well, mostly. I mean...
Works for me.
The authorities, they wouldn't approve. But trust me, they also probably wouldn't do much about this. You will receive a proper training from the trainer of my men, Gus DeMarto. And then you will be put into ring, and hopefully you and your friends will be able to find the fixers or the fixer and expose them.
I think we can do this, no problem.
I lost a good deal of money tonight. Could I get my money back then?
No, said you won't be able to get your money back, sir, but of course you all will be paid. I can offer you all, each of you, 10% of the night's takings in each competition that you will partake in, which should net you, all of you, approximately 6 gold crowns per night. Of course, I am talking about the night in which you will fight, sir. He points at you, Kree. Not every night until then, naturally. And he waits for all of you to, to either agree or maybe try to haggle.
I'm gonna lean into Kree's ear and say I think it's worth a little bit more than 10.
Listen, if it's not at least 50 gold a fight, then Ben and Jerry aren't going to give the competitors the sweets.
He looks, a bit surprised, but he says, "Well, sir, I mean, look, all right, I can give all of you, each of you, additional 10 gold crowns for this. So you will earn approximately 6 gold crowns for the night in which you will take place in the fight, and then also each of you will get another 10. This is This is quite a lot of money, sir. Mine errand.
Only if we get the 10 up front.
Oh, by the way, just so you guys know, 6 gold crowns is a lot. 16 gold crowns is super a lot. That's a lot of money. By the way, for old world standards, that's very, very.
I think like 20 something gold is like a yearly
Yeah, and you know,
salary for most people.
yeah.
Listen, I'm putting my handsome face, I point at my lack of a nose, on the line. We're getting that money up front.
I can give you up front 5 gold crowns. But
Sold.
very well. Very well. And he looks at you, Johannes.
Yes.
And he looks at you, Gustav.
You have a deal, sir.
He then opens one of the drawers in his desk, takes out a large woolen bag, which, well, makes a very nice sound, and, you know, produces 5 carols, as gold crowns are known in the Empire, especially in Rakeland, because of the Carfran's visage on them, and handles each of you 5 gold crowns. This is the upfront payment. You've agreed to this, so you, sir, your name is, he points at you, Kree.
Cree Pio.
Very well. You will then be here early tomorrow morning to start your training with Gus, the Martel, my in-house trainer. The rest of you, of course, you can also support your friend in any way you can, if any way you wish. If you have any questions about this task, now is probably a good time to ask them.
Which fighters do you think were throwing the fights?
The losers, probably.
I have my suspicions, but I want to make one thing very clearly. I don't want any of you talking to the fighters, because it may tip off the fixers. And as I don't know who's responsible, I don't want to take that chance. That said, in a few previous bouts, there were, well, strange results, let's just say. Maybe you can talk to Matthias, my bookie, about any strange bets placed by patrons. This is very simple, gentlemen. Once your friend takes to the ring, both of you will need to have have an eye out on what's happening in the crowd, on any strange dealings, any strange people coming and going, placing bets, stuff like that. While you, Kree, you will probably also need to keep an eye out on your fellow fighters. Maybe, I mean, I know that I just said that I don't want you talking to the fighters, but if you will find a way to ask them carefully, you can try it.
Don't worry, I'm a real gossip gal.
Why are you talking like that? I mean,
I had an injury when I was a child, and it tore away part of my throat.
oh, sorry for that. Didn't want to be disrespectful, or sorry.
Soon after, my father left me, leaving only me, my blind sister, with my mother.
I see that's horrible. Anyway,
Then zombies came and they killed him.
I don't
They
care.
killed him, and I hid under the bed.
I don't care. I'm sorry. With all due respect, does any of you have sixth sense talent?
I think they thought I was one of them.
Brian, you have sixth sense? Brian, you're muted, maybe?
Brian.
Yeah, I was muted. I don't have Sixth Sense.
Okay, and you, Keith, you have Sixth Sense or not?
No.
Okay, okay.
I have Suave.
No, that's sadly this won't be of any help here right now. But after the man said what he said to you, he refills your glasses and proposes a toast to our cooperation. Thank you for accepting my offer. And
To getting paid to beat up a dwarf.
he says, yes, you can. There is a big chance that you will fight Snorri in the ring, good sir. There is a big chance for that. And with that, he toasted your health. By the way, he also, of course, learned your names, Gustav and Johannes. It's not like only Cree. And with that, you after that he let you go. Unless, of course, you want to also interview Matthias right now.
I want to go to the bathroom again, personally.
Yeah, me too. So we'll be back in a second.
Okay, cool.
I mean, I thought it was risky to bet against a dwarf named Snorri, but I'll be damned if I'm putting money on a stunty.
Hello? Hello?
I just got back. Anybody
Hey,
else
what's
here?
up? Yeah, I'm here. I think Keith
Hmm?
is doing. I don't know.
Oh, looks like he checked out completely.
Is he in roll 20?
Mm, I don't know. I'm not looking at that window. Let me look at it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's still
still in
there.
roll 20.
Yeah.
He might be fucking with his mic or something.
Hmm. So the plot thickens.
I'm a little suspicious with this guy. He's doing all right financially. He has the classic missing pinky finger.
Yes, he's part of the Yakuza.
Yeah.
Yo,
So, so, yeah. I have to say, for once, I'm glad I'm not the guy who has to get in there and do the knuckle brawling.
What's
'Cause I feel like
just
that was my role.
what's the runtime? What how long do we play till?
it's like 3.5 hours usually.
I'm back.
So yeah, we're coming up on the end.
Yeah, I mean we still have like less than an hour of play. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, by the way, Keith, I don't know if Brian told you we are like playing every 2 weeks, ideally. Of course, sometimes it might be free, and we are usually playing for what, 3.5 hours, something like that. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, it works for me.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Okay, so we are back. You
Yeah.
are leaving the miller. The alcohol is buzzing in your veins. You feel this nice warmth inside you, and you are walking back to your own. Yeah, that was okay. Sorry, and you are walking back to your own inn. Do you want to talk about anything that you've learned today, or?
Listen, I don't believe that they're fixing fights. How can a champion from Altdorf be not the one who's winning all the fights?
Stranger things have happened.
I thought it was curious that this man he's doing well financially, but he has the classic missing pinky finger. Like he wasn't always doing well financially. Maybe it's
He's
somebody from his past.
That's the guy paying us, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'm saying that the one fixing the fights might be somebody that feels like this guy still owes them or something.
I don't know. I don't know anything about this underworld kind of stuff. I'm a law-abiding citizen of the Empire.
Oh, of course.
Well, yeah, but to recognize scum, you have to dip your toe in it.
Or your pinky finger.
Or your belly.
Okay. So yeah, you've certainly saw something interesting today. You are returning back to your inn. You are pretty hungry. I don't think. Well, maybe you did eat your dinner before leaving for the miller. After all, it's not wise to drink on empty stomach. So, the elf, Finlon, as you enter the inn, he's still serving late drinks and late meals to his patrons. He just acknowledges you as you enter, but doesn't say anything else. This place is much more toned down than the previous one, than the one that you've just been in. It's almost quiet in comparison. And as you feel alcohol, taking its full effect, I guess that you'll just go back to your you go sleep to your beds. You go to sleep in your beds.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yes, everyone, or does anyone want to do something else? Maybe hit the town, hit the ladies.
Oh no, Gustav, what do you say?
About what time is it?
It's late. It's before midnight.
Okay, yeah, it's probably.
Even though, of course, the street of the 1,000 taverns or 100 taverns, even though it's very, very late, it's you know that midnight is like doesn't matter. This place is this place is full of people until almost dawn, and sometimes even after dawn.
I actually think we have to be up early for Kree's training tomorrow, correct?
Klee needs to be at the miller in the right after sunrise, very early.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's best to hit the hay then.
That sounds smart to me.
Okay. So you go to bed and you sleep. You're not exactly drunk, but probably that beer, which was large one, coupled with the brandy, with 2 brandies, in fact, got you a little tipsy. Except for you, Gustav, if I recall correctly, you have the consume alcohol talent. So, yeah?
I don't.
No? Oh, you don't? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
I have resistance to poison.
Oh, okay, yeah. Even as you fall asleep, you still hear Outdorf. All the sounds of the city, getting through the creaks in the windows of your room. You have a room at the basic floor, at the first floor. And as you drift away, you realize once again that the city never truly sleeps. You wake up very early, all of you, and probably this is not a very pleasant thing to do. I mean, no one likes to wake up so early, but you do what you do. And let me quickly see one thing. I need to. Oh yeah, here it is. And you, as you get dressed up, and leave your small but relatively clean room. Fortunately, the owner is an elf, so, and from what you understand, they usually take. They usually take the hygiene rather seriously. You enter the common room. At this time already quite a few people are having their very early breakfast and some strong herbal brews to start the day. Most of them are dock workers, stevedores, people like that. There are a few neighborhood watchmen here. Naturally, you've spotted quite a few customers who are nursing a nasty hangover from last night. The elf himself approaches your table. "Can I get you anything, good people?" he says. "Something to eat? Something to drink?"
Let's get a warrior's breakfast.
And he just looks at you and he nods his head, Johannes. He looks at you, Gustav.
The warrior's breakfast for me, but no meat unless you have fish.
He nods his head. He looks at you, Kree. And
Another ale with an egg.
Just an ale with an egg. Kree, by the way, you are a soldier, and you know that if you are going to train today, you will need to eat something, because this training will be over very soon if you don't.
I'm eating a warrior's breakfast.
Very well. Oh, he also asked if you want anything to drink. Cree already ordered ale with an egg. What about you, Johannes, and you, Gustav?
I smell some herbal tea someone has over there. I'll have some of that.
Very well.
I think you said there's like herbal tea being passed around or something. Yeah.
You can smell it.
Yeah, I also want an ale.
You want an ale?
No egg. Yeah.
All right, sure.
It's healthy. It's healthy, bro.
Yeah.
Like that water stuff will kill you.
So let me roll on one of my favorite tables. For you, Gustav, you will get pastry stuffed with spinach and parsley. For you, Johannes, you will get entrails stuffed with barley. And for you, Cree, nice, that's a good roll. You will get stew of horse flesh and chestnuts. And Gustav got his herbal drink, strong but not unpleasant in taste. Actually, it's probably like barley tea, something like that. Barley tea with some spices, with some herbs, and both Johannes and Cree got their beers. Got their beer, sorry, which probably is just some kind of lager. You are devouring your breakfast. Oh, by the way, all those meals cost like total of 12 pennies each. So, please remember that.
Yep.
As I've said,
A gold crown again? Is it 20?
I think it's 20 silver, I believe, in a crown, and 12 pennies in a silver, I think.
Yeah,
Okay.
So
12,
a
20.
gold is 240 pennies.
Yeah, so sorry, not 12 pennies, 10 pennies total for meal and drink. Yeah. Not a full silver. And do you want to discuss anything before you go to the miller, back to the miller, or you're just eating, waiting, and thinking about what's going to happen?
So Cree, while you're training with the trainer, maybe Gus and I'll go see if we can find the bookie Matthias and chat him up.
Yeah, you can see if you should convince him to tell you who's been winning the most money, who's been sticking their hands in his pockets the most. I'll bet he'll be apt to give him up.
Yep. Unless it's him.
Oh no!
So have you ever done any pugilism like this before?
Cree?
Or is it mostly army stuff?
What's pugilism?
Who are you asking?
Bare knuckle boxing.
Oh no! I mean, I've had some basic hand-to-hand combat training, but never boxing specifically.
I'd say in this case it's gonna be 90% confidence, at least when it comes to the people making bets.
Yeah, I'll just have to hit them with the hilt of my sword. You see how well that worked last time.
You're not allowed to use swords in the ring, buddy.
Uh-oh!
Yeah, you remember, no weapons, not even knuckle dusters. So, bare fists. Oh, you'll probably guess that you can also use legs to some extent, but it's mostly about punching each other. So yeah.
Is there grappling allowed?
You don't really know. You probably learn that when you once again visit the mirror, but from what you've seen in the fight, those people weren't really grappling, they were just punching each other. It's like a boxing match, modern boxing match, not your what's the
All
word?
upper body.
Yeah, not
Not MMA.
not WWE. Bonesaw is ready.
You ain't going nowhere.
Anyway, after you,
brother.
yeah, Hulk Hogan will appear and talk about how great, conservative government really is. I've seen a few films with him back in the 90s. It was an experience. I have to say.
What was Space Commando? Did you ever see that one?
Yeah, unfortunately,
Which one?
the Space Commando.
Oh, I have not seen that one.
It was pretty bad.
It's probably his last movie.
No, I think
Yep.
he later did a
Maybe they were.
few direct to DVD ones or direct to video ones. I think. Like there was this one with Carl Weathers, if I recall correctly. Assault on Devil's Island and Assault on Death Mountain, two of them.
Sounds fantastic.
They were. I have watched them on YouTube a few years back. They were very good movies. Anyway, you finish your meals and you finish your drinks. It's also worth noting, of course, that back in these times, the older times, most of the time beer was rather weak. It wasn't like alcohol free, but it wasn't your typical cheap get you drunk after one can lager. So, for example, people drinking beer in the morning, like Johannes and Kree, they weren't like, it wasn't anything strange. If you would drink 5, of course, that would mean that you are drunks, but so as you are exiting the Shepherd's Wand and walking through this bustling, very popular with all sorts of people neighborhood, and smelling the horrible stench of Outdoor's dogs, of nearby River Reich, of of all the sewage, the grime, the unwashed masses of the empire and beyond. You ponder how much time will you spend in the capital. And eventually you reach the Miller once again. You enter, and as soon as one of the bartenders sees you, at this time there are not too many patrons here. There are a few people from last night still sleeping at the tables, and few others trying to cure their hangovers with beer. But you think that the bartender knew that you'd be coming, and he just points towards the stairs. He points towards the stairs, going down, and he says, "Gus is waiting for you already. Don't keep him waiting."
Oh boy, yeah, I'm on my way.
And so you go downstairs, and Johannes and Gustav, you see that Matthias is in the main room. He's upstairs. He's apparently finishing the books from last evening, who's chewing on a bit of cheese. Are you going with Kree or are you staying here?
I'll
Right here.
I'll go with Kree. I'm kind of curious about the training.
Johannes, what about you?
I'll stay upstairs and talk to Matthias.
Okay. So, before you actually can do anything, Carsten appears. He welcomes each of you, shakes hands with every one of you. Thank you for coming so early, he says, as if that wasn't, obvious. Please, Cree, let's go downstairs. Gus is already waiting, and he leads you into the quote-unquote secret cellar, which isn't probably really secret since the door to it, is wide open. You follow Gustav.
More the forbidden cellar, not so much the secret one.
Well, I mean, the place bears little resemblance to the packed space of last night. In the cleared open spaces, several young men are sparring, and in one corner, a very large man is pummeling a dummy stuffed with straw. Carsten motions to a tall, grizzled-looking man who is standing on the back of a fighter doing push-ups. The man steps off to the evident relief of the fighter and limps towards you. Now, the man... wait a second, where is he? He's... Oh, yeah, here he is. The man is apparently in his 60s. He is large, and he shows signs of his advanced age. He has grey hair and a seamed face, a large broken nose, and a sneer, probably reserved for everyone, gives him a fearsome aspect. He is also, from his complexion, from his face, you can clearly see that he is not imperial. Carsten introduces him. Gentlemen, this is Giuseppe Gus DeMarto. He is my house trainer. Gus, this is new meat, says Gus, looking at you, Cree. And you see that he's not impressed. Let's see what you're made of.
Meat and bones.
Yes, that's what's going to be left of you after I'm done with you. Come on. And he points to the end of the chamber. Your training starts now. And he simply turns away and walks to the end of the chamber, expecting you to follow him. You follow him?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Gustav, what about you?
I'm gonna follow, but I'm gonna break off at some point and just kind of mosey around and see what everybody else is doing.
Okay, so I'm going to return to both of you in a second, because probably today we'll start this, even though we were ending in like probably half an hour, something like that. But your training, Keith, it will be there will be like a downtime for the training, a few days. And I'm going to explain how this works. But for now, let's go back to Johannes. Johannes, you are upstairs, approaching Matthias. Matthias, as I've mentioned before, he's young, like 20-something, probably 25, mousy looking. As you approach him, it's clear that he has bad eyesight. He's short-sighted. But it's also very clear that he's an intelligent, learned man. How are you doing this, Sean?
Hey, still here? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, apparently my microphone was also not by my mouth, so sorry if you couldn't hear me before.
Now we can. No worries.
Yeah. I'm gonna walk up to him and say, "Hey, thanks. I won a lot of money last night."
He looks at you and he says, "Oh, I'm glad to hear that, sir," he says. And he returns to finishing the books.
I know. I was wondering, have you been noticing anything funny going on during the fights? Any, sort of? I know we're not supposed to bet, we're only supposed to bet with the house, but have people been betting more off the house than on the house lately?
He looks once again at you. He's not irritated at you, but he has this smile of patience on his face. He says, "Look, sir, I'm normally too busy collecting bets to take notice of things like strange habits and the like. And besides, unfortunately, the gods chose to punish me with short-sightedness. And so, as you can probably guess, I'm not the best witness to events at large in the cellar."
That's what you're saying. But have you haven't noticed any kind of strange activity or anything like that?
Well, as I've said before, I usually don't observe what's happening in the cellar. I don't even watch the fights. I'm too busy, and he points at the ledger, making sure that the numbers add up. So,
Who sets the odds?
well, the odds are set by the house, sir, i.e. by Carsten, of course. He's the boss here. And well, of course, I help him because, well, I am I've been hired to do all the boring mathematical stuff, as you probably guess. So yes, that's how this goes. I made sure that the numbers set up. I made sure that all the bets are, done right and proper. The money collected. Stuff like that. Boring but necessary.
Is there anybody that's surprising you with their losses?
No, I usually don't even remember which names are assigned to which bet. You are, and he says this quietly. You are people whom Carsten hired to check the fixing thing, right?
Something like that.
Yes. Well, if you wish, and he points his ledger towards you, you can check this yourself. Maybe you will find something here.
Why, yes, thank you.
He handles you the ledger. You can read and write, right?
Yes.
Okay. As you check it out, it's clear to you that you need at least an hour to go through it.
Well, I got nothing better to do.
Do you have supernumerate?
No.
You can, and this, remember guys, if you want, you can spend extra time for more bonuses. In this case, if you want to have a better chance at passing the test, because this will be a hard intelligence test,
Yeah.
You can spend up to total 3 hours for a bonus of plus 30%.
Okay, I'll do that. I figure I got nothing better to do.
Okay. Remind me, in English version, hard is minus 20 or minus 30? I think it's minus 20. Very hard, I believe, is minus 30.
I'm not sure.
Wait a second.
Where would that be in the book?
Let's see. Oh yeah, very easy. It doesn't matter. Yeah, hard is minus 20. I already have it. In the combat cheat sheet, which actually proved helpful. So, in that case, you will get a total of plus 10%, because minus 20 plus 30 is plus 10. If you would have supernumerate, you would get additional plus 10. Oh, by the way, Keith, I don't know if you know this, in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, you can get a total of minus or plus 30%. But in my games, sometimes you can get more, depending on the situation, just so you know. So you are poring over the ledger, reading through it. Please roll, Sean.
Okay, so we're doing a
Intelligence
test.
Mm-hmm. Yes, plus 10% intelligence test.
Plus 10%.
Yes, sir. Oh,
Yeehaw.
boy! That's nice. Sorry. That's actually very nice. Yeah, it took you 3 hours, actually probably 3.5 hours, something like that. It's very boring stuff, by the way. But then again, you are a student, so boring stuff is part of your life. Studying things that you don't like. what you found is that there is some evidence to be found in the ledger that several fights have been thrown in the last couple of months, resulting in large payouts. And actually, there's also something else. You can also see that there are some small accounting errors in the books, resulting in the loss of a silver shilling here and there.
Got it. I'll keep that in my back pocket.
All the while, of course, Matthias is sitting nearby, but you know, he took out some small books, some kind of penny dreadful, and he's just, you know, enjoying a bit of a free time while you are reading this. After you finish, do you do anything with this knowledge, or do you just hand him back the ledger, handle him back the ledger, and
well, I say to Matthias, I see now why Carsten is such a wealthy man. How much does he pay you to handle all of the transactions in the books?
Well, sir, with all due respect, I don't think that's any of your business. He pays me well enough for me to have the job done well.
Oh, I see. So there's no never any errors or anything in your accounting, huh?
You see that, you know, for the first time his brow like arched a bit. What do you mean, sir? I don't understand what you're saying.
I think you understand.
And he immediately got very defensive. No, are there some mistakes? Please show them to me.
Like, well, maybe another time. I've worked up a thirst.
The bar is over there, and he points to the bar, which in fact is over there. I'm sure that you'll be able to quench your thirst there.
Sounds good. I'll do that.
Yeah, you see that he became defensive and a bit nervous. Yeah. Meanwhile, Keith, or rather, Klee. Gus does not waste time on words. He simply starts your training regime. And it is brutal.
Oh, it's getting a real funk out of me.
To put it shortly, for the next week, every day, this is how your life looks. It involves early morning runs of 5 miles or so, fitness training and practice bouts with paid roughnecks from various laborers and teamsters guilds, being hit in the stomach by planks of wood to breed tolerance to pain, being taunted in the ring, and endless skipping. And for the next week, as this takes place, you don't really have time for anything else other than that. And when your training ends, you are too exhausted to do anything else. And I really want to emphasize that. This is brutal, hardcore level training. This reminds you of the military, but even worse.
Oh, I hate it.
What do you say, you worm? Says Gus. You hate it? Then you hate me even more. Now.
Wiggle, wiggle, sir. Wiggle, wiggle.
50 push-ups. Right now.
49 is the best I can do.
50 push-ups.
I'll try to participate in the training.
Okay. Well, if you try to participate, Gus tells you. For the first time, he tells you in a relatively civil way that he's the one handling the training. and that you should maybe go somewhere else, because Keith is Kree is his charge, and he's responsible for him.
Yeah, I'm not trying to step on any toes.
If you persist, then the second time that he's telling you this, he uses much less nice words. I mean, you know the type. This man probably trained people all his life. And you see that he knows his stuff. He's he's an experienced, probably ex-pit fighter. He simply won't tolerate anyone, walking into his what's the word? Trying to help him. You know what I mean.
So I'll just sit back and soak it in then.
Okay, very well. So, so now we have this. Actually, sorry, one more thing. Gus, actually, excuse me, after the first day, he actually asks you, Johannes, and you, Gustav, to help. You are not training, but he asks you to victimize Kree. To insult him as he's running, around the cellar, to throw things at him as he's doing the push-ups, and is being hit by the plank of wood. Kree, this is a living torture, essentially. You vomit after each session. You can barely walk in the evenings. The first few nights, you can't really even eat anything, but your body needs you to eat, so you practically have to force yourself to eat. And all the humiliations. I don't know, Johannes and Gustav, if you are partaking in them, if you are actually insulting him as Gus asks you to.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
No, I
sure.
am.
Okay.
I apologize when training's done for the day, though.
Yeah, but Kree,
part of the
that's the thing. Even when they apologize, it doesn't really help, because when this thing happens, you feel miserable. Simply put, it saps
The damage is done.
it saps your resolve.
You son of a sheep fucker.
But until in the final couple of days, you begin to cope better and start beating up on the other fighters present. And actually, you feel getting stronger, you feel getting better, and faster, tougher. The training regime of this psychopathic Tylian works. Now my question is also, does any of you tries talking with Gus between the bouts of intensive training? Especially you, Kree.
No, I'm too sleepy.
Mm-hmm. What about Johannes and Gustav?
I think I would ask for pointers for someone of my build.
You need to eat better, says Gus. You also need to sleep less. It's clear to me that you're the kind of person who likes to stay in bed till noon. Less alcohol as well. More milk. I'm not your personal trainer, but if you'd ever visit any gymnasium, then your builds, I would suggest probably use your speed more than your strength. Maybe learn a few grappling techniques and throws. But this one, and he points at Kree as he's essentially getting hit in the stomach by two other young men in the room. This one.
Ow! Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Quiet there, he says. Take the punishment with some dignity, boy. Anyway, this one there, He's a fighter. He knows his stuff. He was in the he. It's clear that he has some kind of combat experience. You're not,
It's
And that's
just a hobby.
and that's okay. There's not, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But also, I would think that someone like you, and he remind me, Brian, your character has some kind of Sharia symbol on him, right?
Yeah, I have a tattoo on my left hand of a heart with a blood drop in it, and I have a necklace with a charm.
Yeah. So he points at the necklace. He's not touching it, but it's he points at it. But this will always this will always hold you back. I respect the goddess of mercy as every sensible person in the world. But let's be honest, she's not exactly known for being worshipped by trained fighters. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Just saying. Boy, show me how you work those knees, he says. And by that I mean, of course, the squats. The squats. The squats. Yes. Nothing else. Yeah, you have to do 100 squats right now.
1,
2, 3. Yeah.
2.
So, do you want to speak again? This takes a week's time. So, during this week's time, what are your declarations? And we'll also have to, count the money for your stay at the inn and for your food. Sadly.
Right.
So let's start with Brian. What are your declarations?
I want to evangelize and offer some free healing closer to the dock, but not so far where I feel unsafe. Because you said it's really dangerous down there.
Mostly after dark, but yeah, the problem with docks is that there are a lot of refugees there right now. So even in the day, there's just this mass of people. It's sometimes even hard to navigate. Plus, there are gangs in the docks, which of course are always a problem. But when you're working with the symbol of Sharia out, you don't get any trouble. At least during the day. You guess that probably during the night it wouldn't matter. You would get mugged at the very best.
That's when the Canaanites come out.
Yeah, or just bad people, very bad people. Okay, so you are trying to help your fellow man as best as possible, and of course you do, and people are grateful to you. They say bless you, thank you for your kind heart. Families who have lost everything in the north, in Ostland, in Nordland, in Ostermark, war veterans who returned horribly disfigured and just without limbs, without eyes, without noses. Beggars and poor people whose fortunes have turned, during a single night, who lost everything. All the dregs of humanity, you are trying to help them all, and you are helping them as best as you can. You know that your goddess watches over this, and she is pleased with you, pleased with your efforts. Is there anything else?
I will hang around the gym once a day to help with priest training.
Okay.
I'm also trying to learn things myself. Like, I am interested in fighting. Sparring, I guess, not fighting.
You hang around the gym. You help with the training, mainly with the bruises, with wounds, with Cree sometimes, especially in the beginning, vomiting on the dirty floor after being hit one too many times or after simply exerting himself too much. And Gus, as long as you're not constantly trying to pat him on the head, Gus is doesn't have any problems with that. As long as the only thing that you're doing is actually helping him get back on his feet. The man is gruff, but he doesn't seem to be a bad man. He doesn't seem to be a sadist, he's definitely not the kind of man who takes joy from watching others suffer. He is simply very demanding of all his charges. And he takes his job as house trainer for Carsten very seriously. Okay, so that's it for you for the week, right?
Yeah, and I keep my eyes peeled for where all the ladies are at.
Well, ladies here, if they come to this place, and sometimes they do, you see, it's usually in the company of their men, sadly. And usually,
But just any other taverns on this avenue that.
Yeah, I mean there are other places, so you can visit them and and try to hook up with women there. It's no problem at all. If you do so, then please roll me 3 times your fellowship tests. Actually, do you have charm?
No.
Okay. So let's roll 3 times fellowship tests.
Then
It's
roll your resist disease.
Half fellowship I'm rolling on, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, you can roll full. No problem. I mean, people here are not especially picky, and you are a young man who worships Shalia, so Ooh, nice. 0-1. That's a wow. Okay, you had a total of 2 successful romantic meetings with with women who are attractive enough. Actually, one of them was very pretty. The other one was 6 out of 10. But she had a nice ass, so so that was that. And all parties were satisfied. That said, I would like for you to roll me a plus 30% toughness test. Twice.
Oh. And catch the clap.
You want to reroll that? You want to reroll? You can reroll them both because there are 2 separate tests.
Okay. I just have the one fate left then, right?
Sure. I mean, I don't know how much you have, but if
Fortune.
Yeah, I rerolled one.
Yeah, remember that you had plus 30%, so 1. So you only get 1. So this means that at the end of the week, you gain a bit of an itch down there. It's not too bad, but it's not very pleasant. Which, I mean, I'm not going to give you any penalties. I'm not going to give you any penalties, any sort of that thing, unless you need to do something like sneaking and maybe standing still or maybe concentrating. Then you will probably have to roll for something, because you have a slight rush that will go away in. Let me see.
Who was it? Was it the 6 or the 10?
You don't know. That's the worst part. It will go away in 4 days, by the way. So yeah. Well, that's probably not the first time that you had something like that. So whatever. Johannes, what about you? What's your plan for the 7 days?
So my plan is to I wanted to ask Seppi if I could help with making any healing salves or poultices or plasters. and thereby get to talk to him and ask and pump him for information.
But who do you want to speak to about this?
The trainer, DeMarco.
By the way, sorry, I haven't eaten anything today, so I need to chow.
Yeah,
Which,
no,
by
it's
the
okay.
way, Keith, it's okay. If you want to eat something during the game, go for it. We're all cool here. You're asking Gus about salves and such, yes?
If he would like my help in preparing.
If you want to speak about things like that, go speak to Carsten. I'm not in the business of making medicine. I'm in the business of training. You can talk to Carsten. Ask if he needs this kind of service.
You don't do any treatment on any of your pupils?
No, he says, looking at you like you've asked a very stupid question. I'm training them. I'm making sure that they won't be needing any treatment. The other guy will.
Got it. Okay. Well then, I just while away the time watching, yelling at at Cree and drinking beer.
Sure. My question is, do any of you want to speak with Gus and ask him about fight fixing, maybe?
Well, that's what I was trying to do, but
That sounds too dangerous.
I guess I will ask him. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll do that. Just ask him. I'll be like, so since you don't want my help with this, how about you tell me about what's going on with fight fixing? Or have you noticed anybody who should win?
I know
losing
about
very badly.
I know about this, he says during one of very short breaks when Kree's laying on the ground, panting, watching the dirty ceiling in this cellar. I know it's been happening for some time, and I've been keeping my eyes open. But I am old, and I don't get out much anymore. So my insights are restricted to what I see during fight nights and the weekly training that I carry out, he says. I want to be very adamant. None of my fighters have been involved in the fixing scams. I would know if they were. And he just says that. So, if
Is
you
there
are
anybody
looking,
you suspect?
what?
Is there anybody? Is there? Are there any? Do you watch the fights at night? Have you seen anything that seems suspect?
Yes, I do, and I can give you a few tips. There are signs to be observed when a fighter is taking a dive. Telltale signs. That said, some gifted fighters, and we have quite a few of them here, can mask a dive. So I haven't been able to finger a culprit yet. And I agree with Carsten. The best way to unveil the fixers is to have a stooge enter the ring, and he nods towards Kree. And he essentially tells you a few signs, a few ways to see if someone is taking a dive, which means that you'll be able to make a hard perception test on fight night to determine if a fighter is throwing the fight.
Okay.
If you tell this to Gustav, he can also roll. Kree, probably as well. That said, he will be too busy fighting to actually observe the signs. As funny as that sounds, it's completely different if you watch from the crowd and completely different if you are part of the fight.
Yeah. Yes, I definitely tell Gus.
You mean Gustav?
Stuff, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling him Gus, and I'm calling Gus Giuseppe DeMarco.
So, but that said, you also know that Gus is not living in the Miller. He lives somewhere else. So you can, if you want, and I hope that next adventures maybe you will be telling me this. You can follow him,
Okay.
if you wish.
Next time.
I mean, remember, the training takes a whole week. So this thing he probably told you at the beginning of the week. But if you want to follow him, maybe discuss this between yourselves and we can, keep this for the next game.
It's good.
And finally, Kree, you are probably, except for training, that's probably all you do. Or do you want to do something else? Or try to do something else?
I think I need to recover from my training.
Yeah, that's what I want to say to you, that you would have major penalties to practically doing everything else except for the training. Because your body is just a temple to pain right now. Except, of course, for the fact that at the very end, you start to really feel stronger, better, faster. And tell me, do you still have a fortune point, Keith?
He has luck, so he should have +1, whatever his fate points are.
Because if you do, if you still have a fortune point left after today. Because if you do, we can now make the roll after the training, and if you don't, then we can wait with this for the next game.
I say next game.
Okay, very well. Because you'll get a chance to get a cool skill, free of charge, that will only be useful in the ring, not in normal combat, but if you ever fight in the ring, you'll be able to use it. But this will only be possible if you manage to pass the test. That's why I was asking about.
We'll see.
Yeah, that's why I was asking about the luck point, so that you'll be able, to reroll a potential failed test. Anyway, I think that for today we can end. We've been playing for, more than 3 hours, in fact, I think. And this is a good place to stop. So, tell me, how do you guys like the fact that we've returned to Warhammer, to the old world? What's the consensus?
I like it. It's good.
Okay. Brian?
I'm enjoying it so far. I like playing a lowly character again.
Yeah.
Because like the last characters we played in this, we were like advanced careers on advanced careers and stuff.
Yeah, they were real heroes, you could say. I mean, the stats, the gear, stuff like that, definitely.
Yeah.
And Keith, how did you like your first session?
Oh, it's fun. I'm looking forward to seeing what we get into next.
Awesome. Very glad to hear that. So, for today's session, first of all, for every session, of course, the players get, the basic, like, X amount of points, and then we'll see every single, like, as I mentioned before, like every single element of RPing. So everyone for today's session gets 50 points, just like that. For your characters, you all gain 10 points, which is max, by the way. It's either a 0, 5, or 10. All the professions I've seen are well RP'd. For the place of birth, Gustav, would you say that you've RP'd Marienburg, Wasteland, stuff like that?
I was kind of smirking when they're talking about imperial politics and how complicated it is.
I remember that was very nice. So I'll give you. That was the only thing, but this is the first session, so I'm going to give you 10 points. Johannes, what about you?
I'm Reichland, and I don't know that I did anything specifically Reichlandy, honestly. I mean, I just said Karl Franz when it was time to do toast.
Yeah.
Other than that.
For that, I can give you 5 points. Remember, I suggest reading entries for your provinces in Sigmar's Heirs. How those people speak, how they think, how they act. It really helps with RPing and making your character unique. But again, you don't have to, of course, if you don't want to. I'm going to give you 5 points for that. Cree, what about you? You're from Averland, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Were you Averlandy today? Did you say anything
I don't think so.
about... that said, I think you were saying something about the ship? Or maybe it was before the game. I don't remember.
I think it was during the game.
Let's say I'll give you 5 points for that.
The wizard's wand, and he made a joke about another Italian name or something.
Shepherd's wand. That's right. That's right. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. So you know what? What the hell? Everyone gets 10 points for this. Like I said, first session. Now, deities, religion. Gustav, 10 points. You are, of course, you were very Shalayan. That was very nice. Helping people, stuff like that. Johannes, I don't even know which god you are venerating.
Well, Sigmar with a side of Shalaya.
Would you say that you were religious today?
Was not.
I think so as well. And I think also that Cree wasn't very religious. Tell me, Cree, which gods are you following?
I'm following more.
More? Okay. Or maybe you were. Maybe you were saying anything about more today or acting in a more right way?
Not particularly, no.
Okay. After that, star signs. Gustav, what about your star sign?
I'm the dancer.
Yeah, I'll give you 10 points. You were drinking and you were, chasing after the ladies, even when it got you, well, we know what it got you. Johannes, what about your star sign?
I'm the Piper, and I didn't get to mess with anybody really, so.
Actually, no. I will give you 5 points. You know why?
Yeah.
Because you've agreed to insult Cree during his training.
Okay.
That, I think this counts. This is... especially since after that you were saying, oh, sorry to him, and, it's like... It's just a prank, bro. And finally, Cree, you have the Witchling Star, which is an ominous sign. I will give you 10 points because you are playing a very strange man, which I think corresponds well with the Witching Star. Plus, the qualities are courage and strong-willed, and you've agreed to partake in the training, and you were courageous in betting, for example. Courageous when undertaking the training, so I will give you 10 points for that.
Huzzah!
And now Doom. Doom is, once again, I would like to remind you, Doom is much more open to personal opinions and interpretations, so you can always surprise me. Gustav, what's your Doom?
Thou shalt sup from the cup of corruption. I was a pushover when we were drinking. I drank way more than I normally would, or...
Actually, I'm going to give you 10 points, but not for that. This I don't remember if you were saying that you were drinking much more. Remember, if you want to drink much more to accomplish this, you would probably have to drink so much that I would ask you to roll for the stinking drunk table. But I'm going to give you 10 points because of the ladies. The cup of corruption. You drank well from it. So well, in fact, that you now have rash.
Well worth it.
Yeah. So, as you see, and that's how dooming works. Brian told me that he thinks that why he accomplished this. I told him maybe not exactly no, but that I don't exactly agree. But I, as a GM, saw that he fulfilled his dooming, absolutely. And very well, in fact. Johannes, what about your dooming?
tie not the ribbon nor feather wear, yea, the peacock is thine enemy.
Jesus
So
Christ.
again, I was trying to find
Sword.
find these fancy boys to mess with, but there weren't any to be had. So
Mm,
and then
can
I forgot about it in the rest of my week.
I can suggest something to you, Sean.
Yeah.
Next time, if you want, you don't have to search for them in a single place. Remember, this is a street of 100 taverns. It's a long, straight street with lots of people sitting outside with their cups and mugs and steins outside. You can just pass them by, and of course it will probably require a roll from you, but you can find someone fancy standing outside and just spike their drink there.
Yeah.
You don't need
Yeah,
to
sounds
enter place. You can you can go nuts. That's my suggestion, of course, to you.
No, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I wish I had sleight of hand or something like that or whatever.
Yes, that would probably help a lot. Yeah. And finally, Klee, your dooming.
The sword shall bring no justice, only suffering.
Well, surprise me.
I bonked someone with the hilt of my sword for being a jerk about his beer.
But tell me, is your character about justice or suffering?
I mean, a little bit of both, I guess. Probably justice because of his suffering.
I like the way that
I didn't suffer, but I got a job for it.
Yeah, I like the way that I like the thing that you did with your sword. I liked it very much. I also liked it that you later said that I'm going to later bonk someone with the sword during the match, and I think Johannes told you that you can use sword during the fight. That was pretty nice. So I'm going to give you 10 points. Yeah, that's pretty good. You brought suffering and not justice, but because of the fact that you brought suffering, you've also de-escalated the whole situation. So that's this gray area, this gray reality of Warhammer World. Okay, and after that we have one last thing. You can gain maximum 10 points if any of your characters had an idea which pushed the scenario forward. This is the idea section. If any of you had any idea and actually utilized it, and it helped with pushing the scenario forward. So, Kree, let's start with you because you started saying something.
No, I can't think of anything that I particularly did. I guess just beating up the guy inadvertently pushed the story forward by getting me noticed.
That's sadly not the case here. And I will sometimes, even if you think you have a good idea, if this idea was, let's say, in the scenario in the beginning, then I can give points for it. But if it was an idea that the authors didn't thought of, or I didn't thought, and you've managed to push the scenario forward, then I can of course give you points for this. But not in this case. Johannes, what about you?
I'm trying to think. What did I do that was? I'm feeling like I didn't have any particularly dazzling ideas.
I don't think so as well. I like the way that you spoke with the bookie, and that you have potentially some dirt on him, maybe. But again, you're just keeping it to yourself for now. So yeah, that's that. But other than that, I don't think that there was anything else, honestly. And Gustav, what about you? Finally.
I don't think I had any clever moments today.
Okay. Right.
His bright idea was to get himself crabs.
Yeah. Pinot infection, always fun. So, in that case, this is it for the points. How much did you guys get?
Well, let's see.
Okay.
35, I think.
Oh yeah, remember the person who takes notes,
Yeah.
also notes points at the end.
Yeah, I have it all noted down. Because I did it not the way I normally do it in a table format. I'm having to add on the fly. So let's see. So Gustav got 60, 70, 80, 91. Gustav got 100.
Mm-hmm.
Bree got a 90,
Mm-hmm.
and I got 70.
Okay, so that's it for today. Remember that when you finish the scenario, of course, there will be also bonus points for just finishing the scenario. Also, one important thing, especially for you, Keith, since you are new, if you want to learn new things, if you want to, for example, buy a skill that you like your character, I presume he doesn't know how to read or write. Am I right, or do you have read and write?
I don't think so. This dog, I gotta go. This dog's.
Okay. So go. Just so you know, you need to learn skills to before you buy them. Some of them you can buy on the fly. Some of the stats you can buy on the fly, but some of them you have to spend time to learn. But we'll return to it next time. And so, as we are finishing now, I just want to ask you if 5th of March is okay.
I
Should
believe
be
so.
fine.
Trying to open up a calendar here.
You got a dog, Keith?
No, I don't have a dog. I'm dog sitting for a coworker.
Oh, okay.
Lab pit bull mix.
Yeah, I should be good on the 5th.
Okay. What about the rest of you guys?
I'm good.
Okay. Keith?
Yeah, 5th works for me.
Awesome. Then I'll see you, or rather I'll hear from you on the 5th. Thank you for the game. Take care and bye bye.
Here, guys.
GG.
Good game, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
See ya.